Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Islamic Calling Podcast. So I'm back after a long time. Uh, so is everyone doing okay in the chat? No one's watching right now, but I'll wait until people show up. But right now, there's Adhan going on, so I'm gonna stop talking. All right, we're back. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hold on, let me get rid of the banner. All right, here we go. So, okay, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Islamic Calling Podcast. How's everyone doing? Uh, so, I wanted to do this live stream. I haven't done one in quite a while, and brother MENJ was supposed to join me, but I think he's just busy, busy working. So he might still join me later on. So hopefully we can have a very fun stream, inshallah. I'll try to stay on to 2 to 3 hours if I can. So hopefully we'll have a lot of viewers and guests. So the reason I wanted to do this stream is because recently I saw a video by Sam Harris. So in case you guys don't know, Sam Harris is a very popular new atheist, Zionist apologist. He is basically all pro-Israel and all pro-atheism and anti-Islam. You know, he's a very hardcore Islamophobe. He's constantly whining about how evil Islam is. So he recently he had an interview with, I believe, Brett Weinstein on the Trigonometry podcast, and I watched the stream, and it was an interesting stream, and like literally the every single thing that came out of his mouth is just wrong. So I just thought that I had to kind of like respond to some of the things he says. Of course, he whines about Islam. He whines about Hamas or Hummus, the whole like Israel Palestine thing. Brother Allegation Hunter is here. Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum assalam, bro. How are you? Uh, so yeah, I mean, like, so basically, Sam Harris whines about how evil Islam is, how evil Hummus is, right? And Israel is like angels. So I'm gonna react to some of it, and hopefully it'll be funny and interesting. Um, and also, I'm hoping that brother Emianje will join me later on if he can, unless he falls asleep. So yeah, we should have some fun on the stream. So we have 4 people watching. I think we can get started. I think the stream is like 1 hour, so we can speed it up. Let me share the screen. There we go. By the way, let me know if you guys would prefer a screen like this or like this. By the way, chat, let me know. Would you prefer it like this, or let me make it bigger, or or is it better like this? I think it's best like this. Yeah, I think that I like it better. All right, so let's start watching, inshallah, and I'll make my comment. So, by the way, in case you guys don't know, so this is like on like a trigonometry podcast, I believe. So it's a podcast by like two comedians, I believe, and they basically started talking about October 7 and all the stuff that happened. But the allegation hunter says, I like the video bigger and camera smaller personally. Oh, okay. Video bigger. I mean, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. It's fine either way for me. Actually, you know what? I have an idea. I could basically when I'm watching it, I could make it bigger. Then when I'm commenting on it, I can make it smaller. Either way is fine. So let's start watching, and you guys will see what's wrong with it, with the whole live stream. All right, Bismillah. By the way, let me know if you guys can hear it.
Welcome both. The reason our show works is neither Francis or I pretend to be experts, and we ask the questions
Brother, can you
that are
guys
on
hear?
the minds of most people, or at least we try. I think the questions that are on the minds of most people now is that we are in a moral quandary because we simultaneously believe many things.
Brother, brother, brother allegation says when commenting, make it bigger, it'll be better. Yeah, I think so too. Oh, brother MENJ is here. Do you condemn hummus? No. He said you love hummus. Anyway, so join me, by the way. You have the link, inshallah. If you're not too tired, let me see. May send it to you again. Okay, alhamdulillah. Brother Allegation Hunter says that he can hear. All right, all right. Let me see. Let me invite Brother MENJ. It doesn't, unless he's too tired. Hopefully he'll join us. Here we go. Join. All right. All right. Bro, if you're not too tired, join me, inshallah. All right. Okay, so let's get started. By the way, thank you, brother Bro MENJ. Thank you for the super chat, inshallah. All right, let's get started. Let's see if we condemn hummus or not.
things about Israel and Palestine that are incompatible, and I'll give you a list. I don't want innocent civilians to die, and Israel has to destroy Hamas.
Okay, so already starting on a wrong foot. So basically, he just starts with the completely wrong premise that I don't want. By the way, these two things are completely contradictory. Actually, I'm gonna make it. Let me make myself bigger. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. So these two things are completely contradictory. By the way, he's saying that I don't want anyone to get hurt, but I also want Israel to win. Like, how does that work? Like, Israel is an illegal occupation. For them to win means people will likely get killed. A lot of people will likely get killed. That's because they are an illegal occupation. Like, you cannot have a situation where you have Hamas gone and no one dies. Like that's like a very stupid contradiction. Also, just think about what he's saying. He's saying these people that stole other people's land should have the right to kill people who are resisting that occupation. Right? Like, he has that backwards. Like, it's so stupid. Like, it's kind of amazing these liberals don't recognize their own kind of like stupidity and like their own like fallacies. Like, it's so dumb. I mean, how can you want a bunch of thieves to want to steal more land and then justify it, saying that the people who are fighting so that their lands don't get stolen are the bad guys, and these thieves are the ones who should have the right to kill more people uh, and steal more of their land? Like, which part of that is okay? So obviously, it's just like the whole like video, they do this kind of like completely operate on this completely false premise and this very stupid position, which is they just assume the position of the Israeli side is the correct one without like any justification. Like, it's just okay. Like, these people are stealing their land, they're occupying them, and they should kill them. Like that. That's their argument. But anyway, let's continue.
These two are already internally contradictory.
Oh, at least he acknowledged it.
And we can keep going further and further into exploring that. But what I see is that the thing that is right to say on social media, to look smart and sophisticated and balanced.
Brother Zobaz is here. Salam, how long is this live stream? I just started, inshallah. Let's see how long can go on. And yeah, inshallah, brother MENJ will join me. Hopefully, he said that he's gonna have dinner. Let's watch it. And by the way, do you guys want me to speed it up, or do you want to watch the? Because it's like 2 hours. Actually, you know what? Let me speed it up. Let me speed it up. Yeah.
And nuanced is impractical. It puts you in a position where you don't know what to do. So how do we think about this? How do we think about this issue, Sam?
Well, I'm not saying anything on social media. That's one life hack that I would recommend. I've been looking at
It's so funny. Sammy is so funny. Like, what did he say that was funny? I don't get it. He doesn't want to post something on social media. That's funny.
social media, and I've been seeing that it's. I just think it's poison for us. I mean, even the good parts are making it impossible to. I think it's making us ungovernable. Like I think it's eroding the basis of democracy. It's like even the true information, even the virtue of it is that it's giving some kind of transparency that you fear would not otherwise exist, and that is good for error correcting on some level. But even that in surplus is toxic. And then there's all the distortions of it. There are the things that are performative that wouldn't be happening in the real world, but for the fact that it's going to be broadcast on social media. I just think it's, as I've said many places before, I think it is a kind of psychological experiment that is deranging us.
Agreed.
And so,
but let's come to Israel and Palestine, because I think that's what people.
I like how the host is like, oh, what is this? What is this guy whining about? Like he asked him a basic question, right? He asked him like, what do you think about this kind of like this issue of like Israel Palestine? And he whines about like democracy and like all this other nonsense that has nothing to do with the question. So he has to like force him to get back into the actual topic. Absolutely hilarious. But this is how Sammy operates, right? He's like a pseudo intellectual, I mean, like he will go into like a podcast or live stream, whine about random things that has nothing to do with anything, to just to make himself look smart, And I think this is a pattern I noticed with like people like him and Jordan Peterson. They don't actually have anything smart to say, so they just whine to make themselves look smart. Also with like Shadguru, and it's just kind of hilarious. But let's continue.
People want to think about rationally. How do we think about that issue?
well, I think the most obvious error that people will make now is to imagine that body count is the only measure by which the moral balance swings, right? So if Israel goes into Gaza and inadvertently kills more people than were killed on their side, they've done too much by definition, right? That's wrong in all kinds of ways, but the obvious way that it's wrong is that it completely ignores what people are actually attempting to achieve on both sides. What kind of world?
Okay, like this guy is so psychopathic. Like any normal person, just listen to what he's saying. He's basically saying is that, oh, people will look at these body counts and they'll think, oh, one side is right and one side is wrong. Yeah, that's how it works. If one side is committing greater number of atrocities compared to the other side, that means that other side that is committing greater number of atrocities is wrong. Like that's not rocket science. Any simple person, like anyone with the common two brain cells, can understand this. Like this is not rocket science. Like anyone who sees a children dying in pain can understand that's wrong. That's wrong. I hear this guy saying, no, that's not wrong. That's okay. Like imagine how delusional these people have to be, to see all these footages that have come out from the war, all the children that have literally been blown to pieces, all the people that have been blown to pieces, and his response is that, oh yeah, but that doesn't make Israel wrong. That doesn't make them evil. Like, are you serious? Like, what the hell's wrong with you? This guy is a psychopath. That's the only thing I can say. He's a psychopath. He's a sociopath. Like I don't know what else to describe. Like, chap, help me out here. What do you guys think of this? Is this guy a psychopath or what? Because it's psychopathic. I'm gonna be honest with you. And this is the thing. Like now, I think Now I'm gonna give him some benefit of the doubt, is because he's a Jew. He is Jewish, so maybe I'm guessing he's in an echo chamber where. Oh, I think brother MENJ is here. Hold on, let me. Saga, bro, how are you?
Thing. Can you hear me? Assalamualaikum.
Eh, I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Walaikum salam, brother. Yes. Yes, loud
Walaikum
and
salam.
clear, loud and clear.
How are you, bro? You have the Palestinian shawl with you.
Yeah, the muffler.
Muffler.
Muffler, yeah. It's a muffler.
Nice.
It's a muffler. Yeah, Palestinian muffler. Yep.
So, did
I
you
even have
finish eating hummus?
the coffee. I have the No, I
You said you were having dinner.
didn't take my dinner because no, I did not because I realized that if I were to take my dinner, it would take a long time and I wouldn't be able to join the stream. So I'm sacrificing my dinner for this stream. Okay, I hope you appreciate it.
I mean, you can eat and watch.
No, never mind. I'll eat after the stream is done. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you might throw up watching Sam Harris. Considering
Yeah.
everything.
Do you notice something new on top of my shelf? Do you realize there's something new on top of my shelf?
What is it? I think you're stuck. Oh, very there.
Oh, can you see that?
You're stuck, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry, my internet is a bit flaky today. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a camera, webcam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
So
not the
did.
webcam. I'm talking about that.
Oh
That
yeah,
one.
yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Can
What
you
is
see my
it?
finger?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a PlayStation. It's a PlayStation.
Oh, nice. You bought a PlayStation for yourself? Are you there?
PlayStation, the latest one. Yeah, I'm still
Oh,
here.
nice.
Yeah.
So how much did it cost, by
Yeah.
the way?
The latest PlayStation. I think the equivalent would be let me calculate in USD because this was a second hand item. Otherwise it would have been much more expensive if I had gotten it brand new. So my internet is not working. It's calculating. Um, Let me see now. Why is it taking so long to calculate? Oh dear.
Usually,
Oh
I
my
think it's
god, it's
like
loading so slow. I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
bro, you
Three hundred and
IDFS is
twenty-two. Three
attacking
hundred
your
twenty-two
internet.
USD. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. My internet has been a bit weird for the past few days. But anyway, yeah, I think we better go ahead with the stream. If I
Yeah.
suddenly, time out or if my connection suddenly breaks, I'll try to join again. All right, because this has happened before. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to inshallah. I will rejoin again if it happens again. All right. Yeah.
Sure, sure, no worries. All right, so let's continue with the stream. Let me share the. Yeah, let me share the video. Did you watch this video, by the way? Did you watch this video? Brother Sydney Football says, Brother Fahad, where's your Palestinian scarf, bro? I don't have it yet. Inshallah, maybe I will get it now that I have a new job. Hopefully, I can get one. I don't know. Can you like buy them on the market? Kind of curious. Bro, MENJ, are you there? If you want, you can turn off the webcam. I think that will help. Your connection better. I think he's stuck. But no worries. I'm sure he'll be back. Let's continue with the video. Brother Sydney Football says, "Oh, sorry, I forgot to firstly ask, have you condemned hummus today?" uh, no, I haven't had the chance to condemn hummus yet. Inshallah, the opportunity will come now that I have Sammy here, Sam Harris. Uh, yes, you can order it from any shop online. Yeah, inshallah, I will get one hopefully. Anyway, let's not keep our boy Sammy waiting. The neuroscience scientist. Let's see what he has to say.
World they're attempting to build, what their intentions actually are. What would they do if they had more power? If the asymmetric power in the region were reversed, how would Hamas behave vis-a-vis Israel? Right?
How would Hamas behave, guys? How would Hamas behave? How how would Hamas behave if they had power? Actually, you know what? We actually know how they would behave because we saw how they behave. They had hostages and they released a bunch of those hostages. And guess what happened? Those hostages did not seem distressed. They didn't seem like they were tortured. And then let's compare that with how the IDF teaches their prisoners. You know, they come back with their hands and feet broken. You know, and you have clear example. Brother Image is here. Eh,
Hello again. Assalamualaikum. Sorry. If my internet happen, if that happens again, I'll just rejoin again. All right.
Saga, bro, your connection seems to be a bit better now.
Yeah, I've switched on the router outside, so that might solve the problem. I hope. Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully, IDF doesn't try to
Yeah.
ruin the stream.
Yeah. I might have to eat my dinner, during the stream, so I'll switch off the camera, right? So I don't want people to see me eating my food. Okay.
It's like mukbang. It could be like a mukbang.
Nah, I don't want. I'm a very messy eater, so I don't think it's a good idea to see me eating. All right. All right. Yeah.
Brother Sydney Football says you have to recite your condemnations daily multiple times. I think the Zionists think
Yeah.
of it
You have
like
to
sunnah to condemn hummus. You know.
have you watched Piers Morgan's latest
Oh yeah. I noticed Brother Knowledge Note actually shared
talk,
the video with me.
shows
Sam Harris
daily?
did one with
Each
Piers
time,
Morgan,
each
right?
time, each time he invites a. Oh, I have not watched that. Did he? Did Sam Harris went on?
Yeah.
Did Sam Harris go on to Piers Morgan's show?
Yeah. He did. Brother said if it was a Piers Morgan is a hardcore Islamophobe,
Oh,
bro. We must boycott him. Yeah, I
when
mean,
did
like
that
I've been.
happen?
Yeah, I think it happened yesterday. Brother Knowledge Note actually shared the video with me. Maybe we can watch it in the future, perhaps. But yeah, he went on there, and it's just like, and his rhetoric is basically very stupid, and you'll hear him say this in this, and this whole idea, he just brother, I mean, just gone. I think he's having internet issue. Inshallah, he'll be back. But let's continue, inshallah.
One thing is obvious: Israel, for decades, if it had wanted to perpetrate a genocide against the Palestinians, could have done that on any given day. Right? It would have been trivial. Tomorrow, they could kill everyone in Gaza if they wanted.
Bro, can you hear me? Bro,
Yes,
MENJ,
yes,
are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm still here.
Oh, you're eating. Are you eating hummus?
Yeah, sorry, I'm.
Okay. You know what? I think he's eating. So I'm gonna make the commentary. Let's make the screen a bit bigger. Where's the? Okay. I don't know. Like, okay, let's just keep it like this. So basically, one thing you'll notice what he just said is that basically he's saying that if Israel wanted to wipe out Palestine, they could have done so. Yeah, but they do want to wipe out Palestine. Like they are doing that. Like Palestine used to be a lot bigger, at least land wise. than it is now. So they are continuously wiping out Palestine. So, like, what is he talking about? They are committing genocide. It's a very slow process, but it is happening. Like, even if you ignore everything that happened since October 7, you can clearly see like they're clearly wiping out Palestinian territory, and they're wiping out and making them refugees. If not, if you don't want to call this genocide, you have to at least call it ethnic cleansing. Actually, you know what? Let me share some article with you guys on this. Okay, here we go. Let me share the where is it? Here we go. It's a Israeli news article. Let me share the screen. So it's from the Times of Israel. Here's what it says. Far right minister says nuking Gaza is an option. Like, I don't know, Sam. Like, which part of this sound like they don't want to commit genocide? like, like, which part of this doesn't sound like they want to commit genocide? Like, do they like need to do something else so these people can at least get some clue as to who they're talking about? They clearly want to commit genocide. They're literally openly saying they want to commit genocide. Like, what are you talking about? like, uh, oh no, I think we have some idea of troll here. Do you want the state of Israel to be dismantled? Yes, Alhamdulillah. Of course, I want that. They are committing
Short
war
answer.
crimes. They are
Can I
against.
answer that?
Yeah, sure,
Can I answer
sure,
that?
sure, 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 sure.
So the question was, do you want the state of Israel to be dismantled? I have a short answer and a long answer. The
Yeah,
short
yeah.
answer is yes. Okay. The short answer is yes. The long answer is yes.
Well, there you go.
Okay, there.
There you go.
There you go. There you go.
And the thing is that, like, I mean, the thing is that this is so easy to prove. Their intention to commit genocide. Like, you don't have to do
I mean,
much. You
these
just have to.
Zionists have been, these Zionists have been talking about wiping out Palestinians for a very long time. It's not just,
Yeah,
it did not just begin since October 7th. Okay, it's way even before
yeah.
this, and even
Hmm.
before October 7th, this
Hmm.
Zionist scum were actually raiding the West Bank. There's no Hamas in the West Bank, by the way. They actually
Hmm.
attacked the Jenin camp. I believe that there was an incursion in the Jenin camp several months ago before the military incursion by Al Qassam. Okay, on
Yeah,
October
there are
7th. Okay, yeah,
countless attack
yeah.
on West
They
Bank.
were they were attacking the Jenin this Zionist scum because
Yeah.
you cannot call them humans. They are human animals. They attacked the Jenin camp, and yeah, I think
Hmm.
there were several families who were killed, and because of
Countless.
that,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think it was a massacre.
the yeah, I don't quite remember when it took place. It was this year, by the way. I think it was early this year
Hmm.
or several months before October 7th. And
Hmm.
the Jenin refugees, they decided to take matters into their own hands because the PLO or the PA, the Palestinian Authority, is basically a bunch of old corrupted scum, okay, who are collaborators with
Hmm.
the Israeli regime, the Tel Aviv regime, okay. So they can't
Hmm.
help their own people, and so the
Hmm.
Jenin refugees, I believe they took it upon themselves to form a brigade of their own to defend the camp from attacks by not just Israeli soldiers but settlers as well.
Hmm.
So I believe you can look this up. There's actually a documentary on this on Al Jazeera. You can actually check it out. Yeah.
So it's about the Jenin Brigade. You're talking about the
Yeah,
Jenin Brigade?
it's not there's That's yes, I'm talking about that. I don't know whether it's called specifically the Jenin Brigade. I think they have another name for it, but it was formed in the Jenin camp. Yeah, they're actually
Uh,
protecting the camp from
yeah,
settlers. Yeah, you can look it up in Al Jazeera. It's actually on Al Jazeera right now. Yeah,
yeah. So let me see.
I don't know whether you can search for it. Just do a quick search,
Brigade.
Jenin Brigade or something like this, and then you should be able to see it. It was formed this early this year or somewhere in the middle of this year. It was very recent. Yeah,
Uh,
did you find it?
yeah, yeah. I found a bunch of videos
Should be
on it.
from yeah, I think the one by Al Jazeera is the most interesting because they actually went to the camp and interviewed the personnel, the brigade members. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, there is one. My life as a Palestinian fighter. Is that it?
what is it by Al Jazeera?
Yeah.
Probably that one. I don't know.
They have a video, but it's not a documentary though. It's like 10 minutes.
No, the one that I saw was a documentary.
Uh, Hold on, let me. I think it's maybe this one. Is it called Jinin Jinin?
Possibly. I don't remember the title. Unfortunately, I'm getting old, so I can't remember titles anymore.
This is actually quite old though. I think it was quite a long time ago.
Nah, then it can't be that one because it has to be sometime this year. Yeah. No, it's not the one.
Oh,
No, it can't be this one. It's possibly. I think it's the one. The one. Yeah. I think it's the My Life as a Palestinian Fighter.
this one?
Yeah. I think it's possibly this one. Yes, this is the one. Yeah. And look at the date. 9 months
Ah,
ago. Yeah, quite recent. Yeah. This is the one. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. This is the one. And they're not Hamas, by the way. All right. They're
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
Hamas.
yeah. This is the Jinin Brigade.
Okay. Yes, that's right. Yeah. I think this is the one. Yeah.
Someone is saying there is Hamas in the West Bank. There's no Hamas in the West Bank.
Yeah, I mean,
They have the Jinin
where do you
Brigade.
get these stupid stories from? There's no Hamas in the West Bank. Okay, there is so many group. There are so many groups in the West Bank who are
By the way, another thing that should
who
be
are forming
noted.
the resistance.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Another
Go
thing
ahead.
that
Yeah,
should be noted. It's not just Hamas that are fighting the Israelis. There are a bunch of different groups there. Like for example, you
exactly.
have the Islamic
Exactly.
Jihad. You have
Yes.
the
PF
some
PFLP.
communist. Yeah, some communist
Yeah,
parties also
Marxist
joined up
groups.
with
Yeah.
them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. You have
so
Marxist groups.
it's
You
a
have secular
coalition.
groups.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's a
There's so
it's a
many
coalition.
Palestinian groups fighting against Israel. Okay. It's not
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
Hamas. Okay. It's not Hamas.
Hamas, Hamas,
Hamas. Hamas.
Hamas,
Ha, 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 Hamas.
Hamas.
Sounds stupid, man, when you say this.
Nasty.
So nasty. Oh my god. The Hamas.
Hamas. Like they can't even say it right. Man.
They can't even pronounce the word properly. My God, you stupid Israeli scum. I love mocking
Uh,
Israelis, man.
they took responsibility for suicide attacks there. I'm not sure who you're talking about. Uh, it says that if H doesn't do anything, do what they do, they would have
Do
sympathy
what?
from the West.
If Hamas doesn't do
They
what
do.
they do, let's put it this way: if Hamas doesn't do what they do, the Palestinians will be
Hmm.
wiped out already. All right, the Palestinians will be driven
Yeah.
out from Gaza to the Sinai Desert. Okay, and there will be no
Hmm.
Palestinians in the West Bank and in the Gaza. It's because of
Hmm.
Hamas, which is why the Palestinians are still around. Okay,
Yeah. By the way, do you want to watch this documentary? At least
it's up to you.
first
Do
couple
you
of
want to
minutes.
play? It's only 7 minutes. Yeah, so why not? Yeah, yeah. But it's
قاول
about Jenin. Yeah.
المحافظ على وجود محاول انه نطلقهم باكبر ضرر
Yeah, this is the one I saw. Yeah.
لحتى يتعلموا هون مخيم الدخيل تحت من فوق.
By the way, I believe this brigade was formed because they were constantly getting attacked by the Israeli settlers. So they basically
Yes,
formed a
yes.
group to protect themselves. By
Yeah.
the way, this is
Yeah,
nothing to do
not
with
just the
Hamas.
yeah,
It's normal
yeah,
people.
yeah, not just the settlers, but the IDF soldiers as well. They raided. They kept raiding the Jenin camp, by the way, which is, by the way, filled with refugees from 1948. Okay.
Hmm. Um, he says about HE are the reason we're pro-Israel.
This is an excuse. I mean, they were. I mean, you have been pro-Israeli ever since the time of the PLO during Yasser Arafat.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
I mean, even if Hamas did not exist, you are always
Yeah.
going to be pro-Israeli.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if Hamas doesn't resist, you will have other resistance group. There are other Islamist group. There are communist groups there.
Yeah,
They will always resist.
there will
Like
be yeah, there will always there will always be a resistance group anyway. Groups plural. Okay, it's either going to be Islamist or it's going to be Marxist or leftist. Okay, it's one or the other. All right, so it really I guess it depends on the
Yeah, I mean,
situation of the time.
I guess Islamists are very good at fighting, but the Marxists not so much. Maybe, I mean that's why they make up the bulk of them. But still, like
But
it's a
I don't know
coalition.
about that.
It's a
Yeah.
coalition, so you know. Some music there.
بحب انه انا اتجوز ويجيني اولاد واعمل عيله واستقر واعيش حياتي زي ما بشوف كل العالم عايشين حياتهم. حلمي يتحرر الوطن.
By the way, you know what's funny is that these people would be called heroes if they were Ukrainians and white. You know.
Exactly. If the people were running around attacking Russian soldiers, these people
Yeah,
would
yeah,
be, wow, our heroes, the resistance, the
yeah.
the heroes of our
Or even
times, the against
yeah,
the
even
great Russian bear. Yeah.
yeah, even if they're going around like fighting the Chinese, I'm sure that America would like say, "Oh, you know, these are heroes."
Oh, definitely. Let's say if the Uyghurs were to form, a rebel group and they go against Beijing, for example, oh, those Uyghurs will be hailed as heroes because they are resisting the communists, the Red Army, the evil Red Army of China. You see,
You know,
so and if they
to
do
be honest,
exactly the same thing
I
as
think
Hamas does,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
You know, to be honest, I
Go
honestly
ahead.
think
Yeah.
the Uyghurs should form a resistance group just like Hamas, for protection.
No,
Because
there's a reason why they don't, and maybe we can discuss that another time. But the things in China aren't as straightforward as they seem, by the way. So no, you can't do that. Yeah, it will endanger
no,
many
they
groups.
definitely
Okay,
can do that.
many Muslim groups. Yeah.
There are things
No,
there
I
that
mean no. It's not. It's not. No, it's not as simple as that. Because if they were to do that, then other Muslim groups will be endangered. So that's the reason why, there's no Uyghur resistance or anything of the sort. Okay, because China
no,
is
I
much more dangerous compared to Russia or even Israel. So I mean, it depends on, like I said, it's based on the situation. So maybe we can talk about that another time. So yeah.
Robert Stevens says, "How dare you compare Ukraine to a terror organization?" I mean, if Hamas is a terrorist organization, then why are the Ukrainian
if
fighters
if
not
if
considered a
Ha-
terror organization?
if Hamas goes against the Russians, you hail the Hamas as heroes. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh
ونعيش
my God! Now I
بأمن
have
وسلام
phlegm in my throat.
وأولادنا ينعموا بالحرية.
Israel's federal government is overseeing a wave of military raids into the occupied West Bank amid the
Exactly.
dismantling armed groups.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. This happened several months ago, by the way, before
Yeah,
Hamas did the October 7 military incursion. Okay.
yeah. What did he say?
Yeah. Keep in mind that there's no Hamas in the
Jenin.
West Bank. This took place in the
Yeah,
West Bank. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. The Jenin battalions was formed to keep Israeli forces out. By the way, you need to understand,
Exactly.
Jenin is not part of Israeli territory. It's not part of Israeli territory. They're on
Exactly.
someone else's country,
Mm.
and they're attacking them,
Yeah.
and these people have no right to
Yeah.
fight back.
Yeah,
What a
exactly.
bunch of weirdos.
Exactly.
They're saying that these people have no right
Exactly.
to fight back. And if they fight back, they're
Yeah,
terrorists. Like, absolutely
yeah,
absurd logic.
exactly,
But anyway, let's get back to Sam
exactly,
Harris,
exactly.
and
Let's
let's
go
see
back to
what
Sam
else he
Harris.
has.
Yeah, yeah. There's no like I said, there's no Hamas in the West Bank. So why is Israel attacking the West Bank? That's the question you need to ask.
Exactly. I'm neutral. Now you're not neutral. If you're
No,
against
you're no,
Hamas,
you're
you
no, you're not.
clearly take the Israeli side.
First of all, you're not. First of all, you're not neutral. Secondly,
Yeah.
Israel does not have the right to exist. Okay, they don't even
Yeah.
have the right to exist. Therefore, Israel do not have the right to defend itself. Israel
Yeah.
must be dismantled. Okay, this is my position.
Exactly.
There can never be a two-state solution. Israel must be dismantled, and a Palestinian
Hmm.
state must be formed within
Yeah.
1948 borders.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my
And the thing
position.
is that
Okay,
if like Israel wants to stay there, then they have to make peace with Hamas. That's the only option.
if they want
They have to allow.
if they want to stay there, then they still must dismantle themselves. But the Jews of Israel
They have to
can
dismantle the Zionist rhetoric.
yeah, yeah, they have to dismantle the Zionist state, but they can disperse, and they can live within a Palestinian state as free citizens, equal citizens of a Palestinian state.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the point. Yeah. So Israel will not cease to exist, and a Palestinian state will be formed. Jews and
Hmm.
Arabs will live together in peace and harmony as equal Palestinian citizens. This is what I believe. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, like the thing is that what like no matter how you look at it, like Israel have to make peace with Hamas. Like either Hamas or like most of the militant groups that are there. Otherwise, like there's no way out of this.
I have a I have I have a feeling that Bibi Netanyahu, the demon of Israel, he does not want to any peace with Hamas at the moment. Hamas at the moment, because
Hamas.
he's actually facing he's actually facing 4 court cases. Okay, he knows that if he stops the war, or if there's a ceasefire, which would ensure some sort of peace, some sort of temporary peace in the region, then his court cases would resume, and yeah, he will get his ass sent off to jail, basically, for his crimes. I think it's really in relation to corruption, if I'm not mistaken. You need to Google it up. Yeah.
By the way, this commenter, what he said is false. Let me pull up an article. It's from Al
Hamas
Jazeera, I
doesn't
believe.
want a two-state solution. Well, I don't want a two-state solution anyway, so so it doesn't matter what Hamas wants or does not want. Okay. I don't believe in the concept of a two-state solution. Okay.
Yeah. Uh, okay. Me. I don't know what happened
Okay,
here.
I'll be right back. I need to wash my hands, all right? Because I just finished eating my food. Okay, can I
Sure, sure,
go off
sure,
and wash my hands for a moment? All right, yeah.
sure, sure, sure. Of course. Okay. Where were we? Okay, let me bring up the bookmark that I wanted to show. What is it? Oh, okay. So basically, what I was saying. Here we go. Let me share the screen. So, where's the comment go? So here, this guy said that Hamas doesn't want a two-state solution, except they do. Hamas accepts Palestinian state with 1967 borders. That's literally what they said. Like that's literally what they said in the charter. Khaled Mashal presents a new document in which Hamas accepts 1967 borders without recognizing the state of Israel. So they are willing to accept the 1967 border without accepting the Israeli state. However, they're not against this idea. What they're asking for is that the Israelis have to make concessions. They have to allow right of return and other things. But anyway, uh, enough of that. Let me bookmark this. There we go. So this idea that Hamas doesn't want or Hummus doesn't want, you know,
Okay, I'm back. Did I miss anything?
nothing important.
All right, I'm back.
All right, nice. By the way, where
Okay,
did you get that? Uh,
this
yeah,
this
yeah, this
scarf.
Palestinian scarf.
I bought it online. It's a lot. There's a lot. Do you want one? I can get one for you.
Sure,
There's a lot
sure,
in Malaysia.
sure.
There's a lot in Malaysia.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm trying to get one. Like, I should buy one when I'm doing this kind of
You don't
stream.
have that. You don't have this in Bangladesh. Come on.
We
How
do,
could
we
you
do,
not have? I'm pretty sure you do, right?
we do, we do. Okay, let's
I
continue,
mean,
inshallah.
It's
Bangladesh is like
obvious.
the center for clothing, if I'm not mistaken, right? If I'm not mistaken, you export clothing, right? If I'm not mistaken, you
Hmm.
manufacture
Yeah, yeah,
clothes. Yeah,
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 we do.
yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, let's
Let's
continue.
go play the video.
Obviously haven't wanted
Sorry for
that.
this
They
for
obviously don't want to
disrupting
do
that.
that now.
Sure, sure, no, no
If
worries.
you reverse that balance of power and ask, what would Hamas
Hold on, let me speed it up.
do? What would jihadist organizations anywhere do? Uh, they would kill all the Jews, and they have told us that ad nauseum. The found
No, they would not kill all the Jews. They literally say they don't want to kill all the Jews. Like, what is he talking about? Like, there's a
Where did he
literally
get this idea anyway?
recently Al Jazeera put out a video. AJ Plus on AJ Plus
Okay.
where they literally said, basically they quoted Sheikh Ahmed Yassin, who's the founder of Hamas,
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
saying that
Ashahid.
they don't want to kill
Ashahid
Jews.
Sheikh Ahmad. Yeah.
Here, just check it out. Let me.
Yeah.
colonial violence. This was also addressed by Hamas's founder, Sheikh Ahmed Yassin.
Look at what he's saying. He's just not some random person. He's the founder of Hamas. We don't
He's the
hate
founder. Yeah.
Jews
He's the co-founder.
and fight them because they are Jews. They are people of religion, and we are people of religion. If my brother, who has the same religion and parents as me, takes my home and expel me from my land, I will fight him.
In 2017,
So yeah, that's what Hamas wants. Like, they never said they want to kill all Jews. So that's just
Yeah. I mean,
false.
these people, these people, they don't understand what the land means to Palestinians. They think that
Yeah.
just because the Bible mentions that the Jews came from that land, and therefore, for some reason, those same Jews, you know, hold the title, the land deed to this land, even though a majority of the Zionist founders were actually atheists. Okay, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a contradiction, isn't it? I mean, on one hand, the Zionists say or claim that the land belongs to them because the Bible says so, but at the same time, they disbelieve in God, and they don't believe that God, inspired the Bible, and the Bible was inspired by God. So, what reason can they give to justify that the land was given to the Jews in the first place? I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
from an atheistic Zionist point of view,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I mean,
It
like,
doesn't make any sense to me. I mean,
yeah,
Ben Gurion Ben Gurion, the first prime minister of Israel, was an atheist. The founder of Zionism, Theodore Herzl, was an atheist. Okay, so most of the prime ministers of Israel that came after Ben Gurion were also atheists as well. Benjamin Netanyahu is an atheist too, by the way. He does not admit it to this, but everyone knows that he's not religious. Okay, so I really don't get the logic of claiming that the Bible, of using the Bible to claim that the land belongs to the Jews.
I
Okay,
think Sam Harris, I think he doesn't use the Bible to justify it. I think he says that, uh, you know, uh, He has his own justification. He says things like, you know, uh,
What does he say anyway?
yeah, I think he says something along the line of, these people, they've been displaced. Something I forgot. Like you'll hear it. He'll say
Supreme Charter
this.
of Hamas said that explicitly.
Okay,
It looked
okay,
forward to a
I'll
time where,
listen to it. Okay.
Quranic prophecy would be realized, when the earth itself would cry out against the Jews, where the rocks and the trees would say, "Oh, Muslim, there's a Jew behind me, come kill him." Right?
Again, that's another lie.
Yeah, he's talking about the hadith again. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
hadith is eschatology. Okay, it will happen in the
yeah.
future. We don't know when it will happen, but we know that
Yeah.
it has nothing whatsoever to do with the current situation. It might happen during the current situation. We don't know, but it's in the future, and it's not
All right,
something that
I'm
we
banning this
will
guy.
yeah.
He's spamming the chat. There we go.
Yeah, I mean,
You
I think
continue.
he's yeah, just ban him. Yeah, some Israeli reporter.
Continue.
Yeah, go. Anyway, yeah. So where was my line of thought? I lost my line of thought. Okay. I never mind.
Yeah,
Just play. Just continue playing the video. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can find. So basically, I think you're talking about uh, regarding what he said, or regarding the hadith. The hadith.
Yeah, yeah, the hadith. Yeah. Sorry about the hadith. Yeah. So yeah, maybe you can show the hadith on screen, put it on screen so that our viewers can see what Sam Hadith was referring to.
So basically, this hadith. Let me share. Um, you can find this on Islam QA and other fatwa sites. In some reports, there is an indication that the fighting against the Jews that is mentioned in this hadith will occur at the end of time when Dajjal
Yes.
emerges and the Messiah, Isa ibn Maryam,
Yes.
descends and fights them. Abdullah bin Umar, may Allah be
Yes.
pleased with him, narrated that the Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, said, the Dajjal will camp in this salty, barren ground in Mar Kanat, and most of those who will go out with him will be women, to the extent that a man will go back to his relative, to his mother and sister, and to parent and will tie her up for fear that she may go to him. Then Allah will give the Muslims power over him, and they will kill him and his party until a Jew will hide beneath a tree or a rock, and the rock or tree will say to the Muslim, "Here is a Jew behind me, kill him." So
Yes.
basically, this is referring to so even Al Hafiz Ibn Hajar said in
Yeah,
Fathul Bari,
but
because the Hasan is
read yeah, read the paragraph before that. It says the isnad is weak.
but there's some weakness in his isnad of the, I don't know, of Muhammad bin Ishaq narration by saying that rather than saying so and so said, told us. There are other corroborating reports. See the commentary Al Musnad. These corroborating reports were quoted by Al Hafiz Ibn Hajar, Fath Bari. He classed as Hassan the hadith, and he said what is meant by fighting the Jews is that this will happen when Dajjal emerges and Isa descends. Uh,
End quote.
Ibn al-Muqin said what is meant by the word "you will fight Jews." This will happen when Isa descends and Muslims will be with him, and the Jews will be with the Dajjal. This is what it means.
Yes.
And this is said by
Yes.
Ibn al-Muqin, who's a scholar of
So
hadith.
basically it means that the hadith is referring to an event when the Dajjal has has gone down, or the
No,
Antichrist
the
has
hadith is basically
come
referring
down
to
to earth.
people, the Jews who will follow
Yeah.
Dajjal,
Yeah.
Antichrist.
Yes.
That's what
Yes.
it's referred to.
Yes.
He's not
Yeah.
talking about all Jews.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah. It's talking about a group of Jews that would be the followers of the Dajjal, right?
Hmm,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, he
Yeah.
just misrepresent the hadith. That's a lie. He's not talking about all
Yeah.
Jews.
Yeah.
Basically,
Exactly.
here he commits
Exactly.
the. Let me see if I can find the fallacy. Hasty generalization, I believe. Uh, where is that? So hasty generalization is a fallacy where you take a small sample. Here we go. Here we have I have the animation. You take a small sample, and based on that, you say that the whole people are guilty of this. You know, like for example, if I say that I found one Zionist to be bad, very bad in speaking Hamas. Therefore, all Zionists to be bad at speaking Hamas, although they might be.
Hamas.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's basically you cannot generalize, right? Just because Sam Harris is a piece of shit doesn't mean all Americans are a piece of shit. Basically, how the logic goes, but it's foolishness.
Please, Aki, don't condemn all Americans. Don't forget, I have this, right? I have this, right?
Of course. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying this is a fallacious argument. You cannot make that argument.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm just joking. Yeah.
Except for one tree.
Except the one tree, yes, yeah, that's right. So the difference in intention, while people think intention is this abstraction, intention is the software that everyone is running. Intention is the best predictor of what people will do if they're given an opportunity to do it. Right? They have the power to do it. If they have the tech.
Again, like he just lies throughout his teeth. Like I just showed, like this Israeli prime minister saying that he wants to wipe out Gaza, saying that nuking Gaza is an option, right? So and this is the attitude of the whole cabinet, by the way. This is not some one person. Even Benjamin Netanyahu constantly said,
Okay.
"Remember what Amalek has done to you." That's clear genocidal intent.
Yes.
So how do you look at that and say that, they have no genocidal intent? Like, I don't get this. Like,
Yeah.
he's either ignorant or he's just a liar.
I would say both. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's both an ignorant and a
Knowledgeable.
liar. Yeah.
What will a jihadist
Yeah.
organization do if it gets nuclear weapons? What will a jihadist organization do if it gets a viable bioweapon? Right? We know the answer.
Again, like here he's again doing a false equivalence fallacy. Let me see if I can find
Yeah.
this. I think I have the animation
Yeah.
here. False equivalence. Damage. Extreme. Where is it? I need to add it. So basically, in case you guys don't know, false equivalence is basically when you try to compare two different propositions or arguments that has nothing to do with each other, and you go to a conclusion that just doesn't follow.
Yeah, that's right.
I have it here. There we go. So basically, the problem with this type of arguments is that you cannot really compare Israelis and Palestine. Like Israel is not under occupation, an illegal occupation. Palestinians are.
Yes.
So to compare them or to make it seem like somehow these two sides are equal is just wrong from the get-go. Like the thing is that if Hamas had, nuclear weapons, it doesn't matter whether they had nuclear weapons or not. Like Hamas is a resistance group where the Israelis are not a resistance group. If they have nuclear weapons and if they wipe out Palestinians, that is wrong. But if Hamas wants to do that, you could, there's no evidence that they will do that. They clearly said that they have nothing against Jews. But even if they want to use that to get rid of, the illegal settlers, now, of course, you shouldn't use nukes. But if they just want to use force to get rid of these illegal settlers from their land, then that's completely justified under international law. So it's just
resistance
it's just
resistance is considered legitimate under international law, by the way.
Yeah, they have the legal right to fight back. So
Exactly.
it's just a bizarre. So basically, he's trying to make it seem like Palestinians have no right to fight back, even though they're being illegally occupied.
Answers to these questions. These people have been telling us this for as long as I've been alive, and in isolated cases, absolutely proven to a moral certainty their commitment to nihilism and massacre. I mean, the Islamic State, if you knew the details of what was happening in the Islamic State and couldn't understand that these people mean what they say and believe what they say they believe, then you.
And then he goes to cherry pick the Islamic State, who made the Islamic State authority. Someone's asking, bro, do you condemn hummus?
Oh, I love hummus. I would never condemn hummus.
I love hummus.
Yeah,
we love hummus.
I love
delicious.
hummus very, very much. Yeah, it's very.
No, hummus did not start this war. It was started long before hummus did anything. Israel has been provoking Palestinians for a long time. So stop with
it
that.
It started in the 1920s. Okay, the 1920s was when everything began. Okay,
no, don't have to go to 1920s. Just go to Google. Go to Google and type in Palestinians killed, right before October 7, and you will see how many Palestinians they killed before October 7. Like, you don't have to use rocket science.
Yeah, yeah,
Just Google
exactly.
it.
Yeah,
you're living
yep,
on another planet.
yeah.
So anyone who's surprised, the only surprise here is that there was an assumption, and a historically understandable assumption, that Hamas was not as extreme as Al Qaeda or the Islamic State. And it certainly seems that some among them are prepared to be that extreme. So, but
By the way, this is just, again, as I said, this is not just Hamas. There are other groups involved. There are Islamic Jihad. There are communist groups. But then again, like, even if they do want to get rid of people who have illegally settled on their land, what's wrong with that? Like, he gave no justification for why that would be wrong.
I mean, we're splitting hairs. I mean, jihadism is a fairly unified concept. Whatever the methods, whatever the methods and the past behavior, and we just have to acknowledge that there is a subset of people in the Muslim world for whom it is true, as they say of themselves, that they love death more than we love life. We being free, secular people everywhere, Jews, Christians, moderate Muslims. There are people who actually want to be martyred and see their kids martyred. Right? This is
Yeah, that's because we don't believe that this world is all there is to it. This doesn't mean that we're suicidal. Like, obviously, under Islamic law, we're not suicidal. You're not allowed to commit suicide or even harm yourself, right? There's a hadith
Exactly.
where it clearly says that do not harm yourself or others. Let me see if I can find the hadith. Anyway, Aki, do you have any response to this?
Nothing much. I think what you have said pretty much echoes what I'm thinking anyway. So, well, you see that the thing is about basically, we as Muslims, we don't love this life. We love death. They love this life. They think life is permanent. When I say we love death, I don't mean that we're going to jump off the building and kill ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that death is just the beginning to an eternal life. Okay. Whereas for the kuffar, for those who do not understand Islam, they believe that life is without an end. You see, that's the difference. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is the hadith. It's a Hassan hadith by Sheikh Albani, but it's this well established. In fiqh, if you talk to any scholar of fiqh, they will tell you this is a very important principle.
when you mention fiqh, I recall that weird conversation I have with those two Christians on the platform. It was
no.
Anyway. Maybe next time we will talk about it. Yeah.
Fiqh is basically the understanding of Islamic law based on multiple different hadith and Quran verse. When you compile all them together,
fiqh is not necessarily Sharia, but Sharia consists of some fiqh. Okay, so but the poor Christians that I talked with, they don't seem to understand the difference.
Sharia basically means God's law.
Yes, divine law. Yes. And fiqh is basically, or jurisprudence is basically the human interpretation of divine law, which is fallible and can be debated about, can be disputed, can be argued against, can be revised. So that is the nature of fiqh. But I don't understand what those two were trying to argue, actually, because they don't understand this concept. So they try to make it seem as though Muslims cannot or do not have a clear idea of what divine law is. You see, that's their game. But I know what they were up to. So I tried to be a bit more diplomatic during their show, and hopefully some of the things I say would get through to someone who has more common sense than those two.
Yeah, I mean, like,
sorry for the side. Yeah, sorry for the side intro. I think we should go back to the topic anyway.
Yeah. So if you guys want to see the definition, here's one definition according to, again, Islam QA, which is that Sharia is the entire religion, and fiqh is the knowledge of the practical.
Practical, yes, exactly.
I think that is what it meant, which is basically the practical implication.
Exactly. Yeah, the human
Sharia ruling and usul al-fiqh is knowledge of the evidence for Sharia rulings and the way in which these rulings are derived.
Yeah, how humans will understand the divine rulings and how to apply them to our lives. Exactly. That is fiqh. That is fiqh. Yeah.
So let's get back to the hadith I was talking about. So basically the hadith says the following: Abu Sa'id al-Khudri reported, the Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, said, "Do not cause harm or return harm. Whoever harms others, Allah will harm him. Whoever is harsh with others, Allah will be harsh with him." This is something you need to understand. So when you see Muslims wanting to hurt other people, if they're actually religious, you have to understand, put that into perspective and into context. If they have a justified reason to be violent, right, then in that case, obviously this hadith doesn't apply. But in the situation where they're being violent for no reason or they have no just Islamic cause, then they're violating this hadith or this principle in fiqh. So in general, you're not allowed to harm people, right?
Yes.
Or harm
Yes.
yourself. However,
Yes.
if your life is at stake, like the Palestinian lives are, in that case, situations are a bit different.
Yes.
Because in that case, if you don't harm, you're not going to survive.
Yes.
So, and that's the thing. Like people like Sammy over here don't understand these differences, and
Yeah,
he's
because
just like,
they don't know what they don't know the science of faith. They don't understand the sciences in Islam, and then they try to make comments based on what on their Judeo-Christian background, which of course do not have anything to do with faith or how we understand Sharia. So these people they just talk everything, or they just pull everything out of their asses. so that's just just ignorance, pure sheer ignorance from an idiot who thinks that he's smart enough to talk about this kind of issues.
another, I think Tom Robertson
I think
says,
it's the
"Did
same.
you just say
I think it's the same
Palestinians have the
guy.
right to
I think this is the same
harm
guy, bro.
Israelis?" I mean, do you think
Yeah, this is the same guy.
do you think the Israelis have the right to be in their land? Do you think?
Do you think
Let me ask you a simple question.
Israelis?
Do you
Yeah,
think a person
go ahead.
who can do you think the Israelis can just go anywhere and claim that's their land? It's a simple question I'm going to ask you. I want you to answer.
Actually, the question is this simple. Do you believe that Israelis have the right to go into Gaza and bomb hospitals, schools,
forget Gaza. Forget Gaza.
camps? Yeah, I mean,
forget Gaza. Like, does he think that
not
Israelis?
not just Gaza, but the West Bank. Yeah, but the West Bank as well,
Okay,
and anywhere else. Yeah,
let me finish. So,
yeah, go ahead.
does it
Yeah, okay.
that Israelis have simply the right to take anyone's land? Do they have that right? Because if you can answer that question honestly, you'll realize they have no business in Palestine. If they want to be in Palestine, they have to make peace. They clearly are not making peace. They have occupied.
Can I answer the second question? Can I answer the second question that he put up here?
Yeah, sure.
No, the one before that. The one before that. The one before that.
One?
10 to 6 p.m. Yep.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. You want to answer?
The answer is simple. Europe. Yeah, go back to Europe.
Yeah, I mean,
go back to Europe, man.
Anyway?
Go back to Germany. Go back to Poland. Go back to Hungary. Yeah. Go back to France.
I mean, if America loves them so much, America should take them.
Go back
Seriously.
go back to America. I mean, most of the Israelis were actually are Americans. Okay, they were actually raised in New York, in the Bronx, and then they migrated to Israel, and then they have dual citizenship, an Israeli citizenship and an American citizenship. You see, so why don't you go back to America?
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is that if Israel wants to make peace, that they have to make peace, and they're clearly not making peace. They're constantly under violation of international law, and they're criminals.
They will never make peace.
Yeah,
they will never make peace because they are land grabbers. They are settler colonialists. Their intention is basically to deprive people of their land, of their native land, and populate them with their own ethnic group, and to impose a sort of an apartheid upon the land. So only they have the supreme rights to stay in the land, whereas those who were living in the land before they came along, they are basically treated as second-class citizens. So this is the reality in Israel right now. Okay, and also another thing I find quite ironic is that they don't even treat their African brothers well, because the Ethiopian Jews, the Beta Israelis who came from Ethiopia, because their skin tone is quite different from the European Ashkenazim. They are treated as though as they are trash. Okay, even though they technically are Jews as well. Okay.
So he asked another question, genuine question. Do you think it's okay to kill innocent Israeli? First of all, no one in Israel is technically innocent because they're all under violation of international law.
No,
Okay, this is
no
not
one
my
in
me saying
Israel is
this.
innocent.
However, from Islamic perspective, of course, no one can harm innocent people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
No one can harm innocent people. I just showed you
But
that hadith,
yeah,
which
yeah,
said that
exactly.
you cannot harm yourself or harm others. So that's a
Yes,
very general, important principle in Islam. However,
exactly.
in this situation, the Israelis are actually violation of peace or any kind of international law because they're occupying them. So
Yes.
I don't think they're innocent. But even if even in that situation, I don't think they can be harmed. But at the same time, you need to understand this is a very complex situation
Yeah, I
because the
guess
thing is that
it's a case by
yeah,
case basis, right? Yeah, it's case by case
if
basis.
they're completely involved in fighting, then I don't think they're innocent.
Yeah.
Like for example, if they're going around in West Bank shooting kids, then obviously they're not innocent. In that
Yeah.
situation, I do think Palestinians have the right to harm them. However, if
Yes.
you have a
To
situation
defend
that
themselves. Yeah. To defend yourself. To
where
defend
yeah,
themselves. Yeah.
they have nothing
Yeah.
against Palestinian, just want to live their own life and they want to make peace, then I have nothing against them. But if they're going to go into their
Yes.
territory, take over their territory, kill people, then no.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Uh, Robertson says, so Islamically, you don't support that, but by international law, you support it. Islamic law trumps any law on earth. So, yeah, I don't support killing any innocent people. But however, even from Islamic point of view, they're doing something that's wrong. So you need to
Just
understand both from an international law point of view and from Islamic law point of view, they're doing something wrong. So I think Palestinians have a legit right to retaliate
yeah.
as long as
Exactly.
they can avoid killing innocent people. I think they do have the right to attack, which is why I say, and I've said this before again, that October 7, I think there's a legitimate reason that could be argued that I don't think that it's wrong or it makes them a terrorist group. However, you need to understand war crimes happen. Like, and if you want to hold them responsible, you have to hold Israel responsible first because they have committed more crimes. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent. Let's continue.
They're not bluffing. They're perfectly willing to die for the pleasure and opportunity of killing non-combatants, intentionally killing non-combatants. So that the moral error that people are going to make now, and they're already making it, is to think that when Israel tells people to evacuate northern Gaza and they don't because Hamas is telling them not to do it, or it becomes
Like, where's your evidence for this? Like, he just makes bizarre claims. Like imagine this. Imagine this. Like, he's saying that, oh, Israel is telling them to leave, but Hamas is not letting them leave. Like, where's the evidence for this? Does this guy have any evidence? Because I've showed before that these supposed warnings that they give, like most of the cases, people either
Yeah.
they give too little, like they'll let people know very small amount of people. They tell very small amount of people, or they don't tell at all. And it's impossible to evacuate nearly 3 million people. There are hospitals there that where people can literally cannot move, or there could be elderly, there could be sick, there could be babies. You cannot just move them. That's not how it works. Like
Yeah.
like bombing as a residential area is wrong. It doesn't matter how you justify it. You want to add something?
Yeah. Well, it's basically it's absurd to think that you can evacuate people from hospitals within a 24-hour timeline, as what the Israelis did when they said that they were going to do an incursion into the northern part of Gaza, and then they gave 24 hours for everyone to evacuate, which is quite dumb. It sounds like Nazism. Okay, it sounds like what Hitler would have done. Okay,
Mhm.
you give an impossible ultimatum when you very well know that there are people who are sick, who are infirm, who can't move from their houses perhaps, or even from hospitals. Definitely not from hospitals. I
Yeah.
mean, how are you going to, let's say there's a cancer patient or someone who's about to go through an important operation, for example, a surgery. How are you going to move them within 24
Also,
hours?
Also, it's illegal to kill civilians. It doesn't matter what the justification is.
Yes.
Like even
Yeah,
if they are being
exactly,
used as
exactly.
human shield, even if there is
And
military
yeah,
presence there,
yeah,
you still cannot kill civilians.
yeah.
It's
And I think,
illegal.
if I'm not mistaken, under international law, if I'm not mistaken, places like schools and hospitals are protected. So why
Yeah.
the ultimatum? Yeah, I mean, they're protected. You can't actually do anything against these institutions.
They think the children are
Yeah.
hummus. You know, those babies with guns, man.
I mean, Israel did not
Coming
just
together.
you see, the thing is, they did not just attack hospitals and schools. They also attacked the UN camps which were run by the UN, the United Nations. Does Israel think that they
And
are more
they're killing
powerful than the
everyone. Like
UN?
they're killing
Yeah,
journalists,
I
they're
mean,
killing nurses, they're
I mean,
killing doctors.
they're just attacking everyone indiscriminately
Yeah.
because they think that, I don't
They
know,
even kill.
in the
Recently, it came out. They even killed their own hostages. Like literally
yes,
shot them, not even
yes.
bombed them.
Yeah, I saw the news. I saw the news. It was quite dumb. I mean, you were supposed to save them and then you shoot them.
Yeah.
It's quite stupid, really. And they were shouting in Hebrew, by the way, "Don't kill us, don't
Yeah.
kill us." But then they just shot them anyway. So, kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah. Let me see if I can. Oh, there we go. It's on BBC. Let me share the. Here we go. Let me share the article. Here it is. Israel hostage. IDF says it mistake. Sorry. What is this ad? Israel's hostage. IDF says it mistakenly killed 3 men held in Gaza. These are hostages, but they don't even say hostages. The Israeli military says it has mistakenly killed 3 hostages during its campaign in Gaza after they were misidentified as a threat. How do you misidentify people? It's not like they're bombing them. So basically, what happened is that they're coming up to them. They're saying, "Oh, we're basically we're Jewish, we're Israeli," and they thought that they were terrorists, and they shot them. Like if they're doing this to their own people, imagine what they will do, to like Palestinians. Christian Thomas says, "I support Israel, but I'm open to changing my position if there's sufficient evidence against Israel." What do you mean sufficient is the evidence? They themselves said, like, they want to commit genocide. You want to support genocide? Fine.
Do
Stop.
you support bombing of schools and hospitals and churches? Because if you do, then obviously you're going to support Israel. Okay, if you don't,
Yeah, I think it's a
then the
David fan.
logical
David Wood
choice
fan.
will be,
I think he's a David
must
Wood
be,
fan.
and he's using brother Ramsey's logo, by the way. I don't know, you know brother Ramsey, right?
Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to Sam Harris.
Yeah, I think it's the same troll, by the way. Yeah.
Let's get back to our boy Sammy here.
Impossible, and Egypt doesn't let them out, etc.
Yeah.
And they drop bombs targeting Hamas installations that have been purposefully put next to civilian areas that will cause carnage when Israel bombs them, like hospitals and schools.
It doesn't matter if the installation is right beside civilian areas. It's still illegal. You still cannot bomb that area.
Mosques. When Israel bombs those targets and kids die, which is obviously horrible, that is the same thing as Hamas jihadists coming in under cover of rocket fire at dawn and murdering babies in their cribs. It's not the
Again, that's another false news. They didn't murder any
Yeah,
babies.
false news, yeah. There were no 40
By the
beheaded
way,
babies, by
yeah.
the way.
Did you guys
Yeah.
see any of those babies that were 40 babies? Did you guys find evidence of the 40 babies?
Have not seen
Sam
any
is
40 babies.
terrorist.
But
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen a lot of photos of Palestinian children being bodies of Palestinian children, by the way. So yeah, no Israeli babies, but a lot of Palestinian children who were killed. We actually have photographic evidence of that, of Palestinian children being killed. Yeah.
same thing. And body count doesn't resolve that disparity.
Agreed. So we'll come to you in a sec, Eric. But what, as are we all. But what does that mean, Sam? Let me ask you this, right? The United States dropped a nuclear bomb on Japan, 2 of them. And after Hiroshima, I think it was Hiroshima, not Nagasaki, the US Army went in and they measured the blast impact. Not the release of energy from the nuclear bombs, but the actual destructive impact. And then they measured that and said, how much conventional munitions would we have to use to achieve the same destructive impact. In the last year and a half of World War II, the Allies, the British and the Soviets and the Americans, dropped 50 Hiroshimas a month on Germany. We flattened it, right? Because it was a death cult that took over that country, and Hitler said, we're going to make a last stand. We don't care about civilian casualties. We're going to stand to the death. What you're saying is Gaza is in the grips of a death cult of the same nature, or worse. What does that mean? Right? I don't want a million children in Gaza to die and be burnt in bomb shelters like the Germans.
By the way, look at the framing here. And this brother said it right. Sam is a terrorist. He is a terrorist. He's supporting terrorism right now.
Yeah.
He's talking about flattening entire neighborhoods, committing
It's
genocide.
crazy,
That's
man.
what he's defending.
It is crazy. Yeah, no question about it. Yeah.
I mean, like, he's literally talking about killing innocent people. That's what he's justifying.
It's horrible. Yeah.
This person is disgusting. Like, if you're a sane person, like if you're a fan of Sam Harris, please note, I'm not saying this. He's the one saying this. He's saying we should flatten Gaza. He says that we should commit genocide. That's what he's doing. He's
He
defending
sounds like he sounds like one of the ministers that you showed earlier about wanting to flatten Gaza, wanting to nuke Gaza, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. He's saying that, oh, it's bad that children dies. Ladies, 7,000 children have died. That's fine. Israel should have the right to kill children. They have the right to kill children, guys.
They have the right.
Why
do
so
they have
mad?
the right to bomb hospitals too?
Why so mad? Let them kill kids, man. So,
My God, these people.
by
these
the way,
people are crazy, man.
just to reframe this whole thing, it's not just that they're killing kids.
You know what? You know
They're
what's the
killing
irony?
in their
You know
own
what's the
land.
yeah? You know what's the
It's
irony
not
here?
even that
Imagine.
they attack them
Yeah.
or they're
Yeah.
invading their land or something like that. They're just killing
Exactly.
them on their own territory.
Yes, that's right.
Like
That's right.
there's no defending this.
Yes. Yeah. So imagine if the Russians were to do something similar to Israel and start bombing schools, hospitals, and UN camps in Ukraine. What do you think? What do you think the Western media would say?
They'll probably say
What do you? Yeah.
those
Yeah.
those 40 babies are definitely responsible for this. If Hamas didn't kill those 40 babies, Russia wouldn't bomb them. It's all
man.
Hamas's
It's
fault.
nuts. Yeah, everything is Hamas's fault. Exactly.
You had a
Exactly.
stomachache, it's Hamas. If Hamas didn't do October 7, you would have
If you have food poisoning, it's Hamas's fault. Yeah. Mm.
I mean, I swear, like everything,
Oh,
like
by the
whatever they say, it's Hamas.
by the way, Aki, how long are we going to do this stream? Because I'm going to have to leave soon. By the way.
Yeah. I think we should do portions of it. I think this portion we could cover this.
Yeah.
Then we're going straight to at war with Jihadis or whatever, because this is the portion that I want to react to.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
So
And I
it's
would
like 20
okay,
minutes,
alright,
30
alright.
minutes after.
defend our
right,
aerial bombing
okay.
of German cities and dropping the bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. I think there was a calculation that, and again, I don't consider myself an expert on recent scholarship on this, and I know that about 20 years ago, A.C. Grayling, the British philosopher, wrote a book about.
By the way, you have no scholarship on this. Like, if you debate someone like Norman Finkelstein or someone like I don't know, Noam Chomsky, they're going to destroy you, man. And this is why you don't debate them. They're going to absolutely
Exactly.
destroy you. Just
I mean,
debate Noam Chomsky. I dare
No,
you.
yeah. No, not Noam Chomsky. I mean, just Norman Finkelstein is good enough. Yeah, I mean, I think Noam Chomsky is a bit too old now. He to debate. He's quite old
Yeah,
now.
he's a bit
He's
old
80
now.
plus. Yeah, he's a bit too old and infirm to engage in debate. But Norman Finkelstein can debate this guy anytime.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Specifically the Allied bombing of German cities, and concluded that it really was ethically unjustifiable. Right? That it's just we told ourselves a story about how this was necessary to win the war, and it was not a compelling story even at the time. I'm not so sure what analysis is true there, but what I think Israel is held to a higher standard than certainly we were 70 years ago, and even than we.
Israel is held to a higher standard. You're literally justifying them killing kids. How are they held to higher standards? Like America, like think of what you will about America. America didn't kill this many people in Afghanistan in such a short period of time. And usually,
Yes.
when it comes to Americans, they didn't flatten entire neighborhood. Even in Iraq and Afghanistan, they did kill people. Don't get me wrong; they were still bad, but they didn't kill as many people, and they still got criticized. Like, like Israel is like America on steroids. Like, how are they not held to the same standard? Like they're getting almost no repercussion from this. America is still defending them, and they're clearly committing genocide. Like this guy is delusional. He's delulu.
British and the Americans are now. I think they should hold themselves to the highest possible standard. I mean, they certainly should be alert to the difference between committing war crimes
Highest possible standard by killing as many children as possible.
and following
That's
the
their
law that
that's their higher standard.
governs how you wage war. I think they should be as reluctant as they can practically be to kill innocent people, and knowing that it's impossible not to kill some innocent people when you're trying to
What are
fight.
you talking about? Like, how can you be reluctant when you nearly wiped out like a portion of their population? Like, if they go at the rate that they're going in, this will be genocide.
Militants in a crowded city, right? Especially when those militants, based on their own completely deranged moral worldview, are committed to using their own people as human shields. Right? I mean, that disparity is, as far as the
By the way, there's no evidence of human shield. Like, it's just a lie.
moral algebra that can give you insight into the difference between the two sides. That disparity says everything to me. It's like, this is something I've recently said on my own podcast, but if you just imagine the Israelis attempting to use their own non-combatants as human shields, right, in any conflict against jihadis. Say Hezbollah comes across the northern border and the Israelis line up with their own women and kids, putting the barrels of their weapons on the shoulders of their children, thinking that Hezbollah is going to be reluctant to shoot through the bodies of their children to kill IDF soldiers. I mean,
By the way, what's interesting is that he will say things like human shields when it comes to Palestinians, even though he knows full well that Gaza is a very densely populated area. There's literally no way for them to build something that will not be near a civilian area. So, on top of it, and yet on Israel, by the way, uses their own civilians and as reservists. Like there's no like every civilian has to serve in the military. So when you're killing IDF, you are technically killing civilians, or there's a chance that you're killing civilians because everyone in Israel have to serve in the military. So how are they then not using human shield? I mean, they're the ones that are using human shield because Palestinians are not doing that. They're simply trying to survive.
I mean, there are also examples, by the way, of Israeli soldiers, especially in the West Bank, where they actually take Palestinians. They actually capture Palestinians and they use those Palestinians as human shields whenever they want to move from one place to another. Yeah, there are videos of those.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think. Oh, okay. I think I found an article that actually says that. Hold on, let me pull it up. Here's an article by Middle East AA. Let me share the screen. It says it's from 2023. I think it's in 11. Oh yeah, I think this is during the war. Basically, it says that Israeli army in the West Bank uses Palestinian detainees as human shield. Incident took place early Friday after Israeli army raided Fawar refugee camp near Hebron, eyewitnesses say. So they're literally using human shield. Like Israelis are using human shield. A video that went viral on social media on Friday showed the Israeli military using Palestinian detainees as human shield in the southern occupied West Bank. So in the West Bank, they're literally using Palestinian as human shield. And then they're blaming, by the way, brother MENJ, do you want to go? I think you said that you're tired. Are you there, bro? Brother MENJ, are you there? I think he fell asleep or something. Oh, I think he went to dinner. So he will be back, inshallah.
Is a completely surreal Monty Python sketch where all the Jews die. It is not. It is laughable. It is unthinkable. It's unthinkable at every level of it. It's unthinkable that the Jews would treat their own children and non-combatants that way, given what they believe about everything.
They do use human shield. What are you talking about?
And it's unthinkable that they would think that their enemies would be deterred by that behavior, right? But when you reverse it, as it is the case in the real world, we have had to, we Westerners and the Israelis have had to confront this behavior.
Okay, so let's get a bit academic here. So basically, what he's trying to describe here is Israeli exceptionalism. So, in case you guys don't know, when it comes to political philosophy or political geopolitical things, there are these terms known as the American exceptionalism, which is basically the idea that Americans or most world powers believe that they are the exception to the rule, or they think somehow they're exceptional, or they shouldn't be held to the same standard as other countries or other people. So when it comes to America, you see this a lot because they think that America is the greatest country on the planet, which is fair. I mean, like every country thinks that, but the problem is when you actually apply that as a policy, right? Because if you apply that as a policy, what you have is that you have you have basically become a country that cannot be negotiated with, because whatever you want, either you get it through the sword or not. So this is how they justify any kind of international violation of international law, because they think they're above everyone else. And the thing is that because the amount of support from the West that has been being given to Israel has started to think themselves as exceptional as well, because they think, oh, look at us, we have all the weapons and all the money, all the support that we need. Clearly we're exceptional, and anyone who opposes us is like this barbaric savage horde. The problem with this thinking is that it's racist, first of all, and secondly, it's clearly problematic, because you're not exceptional. Just because you're born in a country, it doesn't make you exceptional in any way, shape, or form. You have to uphold it's the same kind of laws and standards of other people. If you can't do that, you're just a barbaric horde. That's it. And that's basically what he's trying to demonstrate. He's all about, Israel didn't do anything wrong. He says is this evil barbaric Palestinians that is trying to get rid of them. But even though like it's literally their land and they have the right to fight back, but it's just a very cartoonish version of like Israeli exceptionalism that he's promoting.
On multiple fronts in every conflict against jihadists, they routinely use non-combatants as human shield, and Hamas is doing that now. I think Israel has to figure out how to navigate around that and eradicate jihadists. Eradicate Hamas. We're
You guys hear what he said? Let's go back.
And the Israelis have had to confront this behavior on multiple fronts in every conflict against jihadists. They routinely use non-combatants as human shield, and Hamas is doing that now. I think Israel has to figure out how to navigate around that and eradicate jihadists.
Sam Harris wants Israel to eradicate jihadists. Now, you need to understand something. The word jihad means struggle. So every Muslim believes in jihad. I believe in jihad. Brother MENJ believes in jihad. So what he's essentially saying is that Israel have to get rid of jihadis, meaning Israel have to get rid of all Muslims. Now, you know what? Let me be charitable. Let me say, you know what? Maybe he doesn't mean that. Okay. So what does it mean? He means Israel have to get rid of people who oppose Israel. Right? That's the most charitable interpretation I can give. So you're saying that a country, which was, by the way, it was established by violent force, and anyone who opposed that force, it has to be killed. So these people, Israelis or the Zionists, have the right to go to any land and take over the territory, and anyone who opposes them have to be killed. Like that's what he's saying. Like he's definitely he's justifying an illegal occupation. Like I don't know how else to put it. Like he's defending war crime. He's defending international crime against humanity. That's what he's defending. He's saying that anyone who opposes illegal occupation, by the way, which is legal under international law, these people are criminal, but people who are committing the crime are innocent. Like, he has it completely backward. Subhanallah. But anyway, like this is the level of morality these atheists operate with. It's completely delusional. Like it's baffling to me that people actually listen to him.
Eradicate Hamas. We're confounded to some degree by our terminology here. We keep talking about terrorists, and we had a war on terror for a quarter of a century now. Terrorism is a tactic. Terrorism is not the thing we're fighting. We're fighting jihad. And
what's the difference, Sam? Explain to people what the difference
well,
is.
jihadism is the
Listen carefully.
the radical core of Islam. It is this principle of holy war that can be justified in various contexts. Yes, there are many, many millions of Muslims, thankfully, who justify it in ways that we would recognize as something we could live with, right? So a defensive war, right? A just war theory. Okay, great. There are other Muslims who say, no, you don't understand. Jihad is just an inner spiritual struggle. Okay, great. But historically and practically now, a component of jihad has always been you convert, subjugate, kill the infidel, right? It's like Islam is a religion.
So basically, he's saying that you have to kill jihadis or anyone who basically, anyone who opposes Israel is a jihadi, because that he said that Israel needs to get rid of jihadis, but the jihadis he's referring to are resistance fighters, right? They're resisting occupation. So then, how does that boil to them, wanting to wipe out everyone? First of all, this is false. The concept of jihad basically means holy war or offensive, if you want to say that, call it that. And the whole point of offensive is just like normal warfare. There's no difference between normal warfare and jihad. That's what it is. It's just normal warfare. So he's saying that anyone who wants to do normal warfare against their enemies should be eradicated. So anyone who doesn't agree with us should be killed. How is that any different than what any other terrorist group says? You're literally saying the same thing they're saying. How's that different? I don't get it. He's trying to justify an illegal occupation, and his argument is, anyone who is against us is clearly a jihadi, and anyone who's a jihadi should be killed. How does that justify anything? It's just so bizarre. But let's continue.
Religion of conquest. It views itself as a religion of conquest. It expects to win these contests for believers at the end of time, and it has an explicitly martial ethic, which is we have to win through force, right? And we're happy to die trying. However long we fail, we're ultimately going to succeed. But we're happy to throw our bodies and the bodies of our children into this, because this life is a total illusion. It has.
That is false. He doesn't even understand the basics of Islamic creed. In Islam, you're not allowed to commit suicide, nor are you allowed to put other people in harm's way. As I just said, there's a hadith that says you cannot harm yourself and you cannot harm others. However, there's another hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said that do not wish for war, but if war ever comes to you, then know that heaven is beneath the shade of swords. That is the proper definition of what jihad is, which is this idea that Muslims don't go around wishing to fight people. But if they're on our territory and they're threatening our livelihood, then yeah, we're going to fight. Any people in the world, forget Hamas, take any people in the world and they'll say the same thing. If you take their land, if you occupy them illegally, they're going to fight you. Forget Israelis. Remove Palestinians from this equation and put any other group in that situation. Put the Amish, put the I don't know, put the Americans, put the British, any people that is in the position of the Palestinians would do the exact same thing. They do the exact same thing. That's because the issue isn't jihad. Jihad is just simple warfare. The issue is you abusing international law and you oppressing people, you violating Islamic law and oppressing people. That is causing people to resist you. And then when they resist you, you're calling them terrorists. And that is it's a completely warped perspective. But because many Americans don't see this, and this is what the problem is, their perspective is completely upside down. They have it completely upside down. And Sam Harris is the same way. He has it completely upside down. He doesn't realize that he's just saying everything just backwards.
Absolutely no value. This is just a anteroom on the thresholds of either heaven or hell. And the only thing that matters is where you go after you die, right? And only the true believers go to paradise, and if you kill them inadvertently, if you blow up a crowd of Muslim kids in an attempt.
Yeah, I mean, like if you die trying to fight liberate your people or trying to protect other people of your country, then yeah, you go to paradise. Like, what's wrong with that? That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Would Sam Harris like assume, like does he assume that people who gave their life in World War II are like terrorists or criminals? No, of course not. Like this is heroic. This is good. Like, why would you think that people who are defending their own land are somehow terrorists?
To kill some soldiers that are handing out candy to them, as happened in our conflict in Iraq and Afghanistan. There's no factor. The kids, the good Muslims, the real Muslims, are going to paradise. They're going to thank you, right? No problem. And the bad Muslims, the fake Muslims, and the infidels, the idolaters, they're going to go to hell sooner. And that's to ourselves in the secular West. There's some other.
He doesn't understand anything about Islamic law. Like, he's just whining about like paradise, hellfire, like the same kind of atheist
logic. Some other variable that explains his behavior. It's economics. It's politics. The assumption is that when you see people behaving in this extraordinarily destructive and psychopathic way, they.
Why is it psychopathic? They're just trying to fight for their land, man. They're just trying to protect their kids. Like, what are you talking about? How is that psychopathic? Like, who in the place of the Palestinians would do things differently? Like, they tried to make peace. They did peace marches. You shot them. You killed them. You put them in an open air prison. Like, who would act differently in that situation?
Must have been pushed there by some awful treatment that would explain it. Right? This must be ordinary human rational behavior in extremis. Right? These people have been so tortured by the occupation, by the apartheid state of Israel, by the open air prison of Gaza. I mean, these phrases that are now used reflexively in the media. I'm not saying life in Gaza isn't horrible. I'm not saying it's not intolerable. We can talk about that. But there's a layer of this phenomenon and this behavior that we've been living with. Most.
By the way, he completely ignores the fact that Israel is an apartheid country, which means that they have two different laws for two completely different group of people. Just like in American South, which was racist, because if you're Jewish, you can go to Israel and stay there. If you're not Jewish, you're not allowed to stay there, or you have to seek the permission of the Jews, right? So it's an ethno-state. It's a state where one race of people is preferred over other race of people, and he's defending that. It's like little Nazi Germany, because they also preferred one race of people over other race of people, and they made laws based on that. Like South Africa, they had one race of people had one laws, and other race of people had different laws. Palestinian Arabs living in Israel have to, if they commit a crime, they are tried through military prison or military law, and then if Israelis commit a crime, they are tried through public courts. So they have two different legal systems for two completely different race of people. Like, and this is which part of this is like justified?
Clearly since September 11, 2001, but it obviously precedes that, which is explained only by the religious ideology, right? When people are doing the unthinkable, again, you can find so many cases where they're doing it without grievance, right? Where somebody drops out of the London School of Economics to go join the Islamic State for the pleasure of killing Yazidis and raping their women, right? It's just.
What is he talking about? Like, dude, you're defending genocide. You're defending killing children. Like, what are you talking about? Like, who? Like, he gives this like weird Islamophobic like garbage. Like before I get into anything, like I need to explain what Islamophobia is. Islamophobia is the idea of generalizing the Muslim people based on some radical element, or like basically misrepresenting what the Muslim people are. So make it seem like somehow like there are extremist groups, therefore all Muslims are extremists. It's fallacious. It's history generalization. It's a fallacy. It's a fallacy in logic. And again, Sam Harris should know better because he's supposedly a philosopher, right? Where is that? Here we go. It says generalization. Even if it is true that there are students that want to join like this extremist group, it doesn't mean that all Muslims want to do that or all Muslims believe that. Like, the belief is separate from this.
This is what's happening, ad nauseum, right? You had from 100 countries. Right? So what we saw Hamas do in Israel last week is a subset. It's just another example of that same behavior. Yes, it has this local political nationalistic struggle over territory context, but that's not the thing that explains the behavior.
So basically what he's doing is that he completely ignores like all the legitimate reason which Hamas has to retaliate, ignores all of that, and say that, oh, but look, they're Muslim, right? Because any Muslim that fights back is a terrorist. So because they're Muslim, therefore they're a terrorist. Like, it's so stupid. Like, that's his argument. That's just so stupid. I mean, like, imagine if I said that, every, I don't know, every Israeli is racist and Israelis are fighting Palestinians. Therefore, this fight against Palestinians is racist. Like, it's like the same logic. Like, it's so dumb. Like, how do you even, like, justify this? This guy's so stupid. Like, I don't even know how to respond.
And we have to get our heads around that. We again, I'm not even talking about non-Muslims. I'm talking about all moderate Muslims.
There's another logical fallacy I feel like he's committing, which is basically known as the oversimplified cause fallacy. This one. So basically, what this fallacy does is that you basically take a bunch of random, one cause or something that may contribute to the cause. Let's say that because this thing is there, or there's a correlation between this thing and this thing. Therefore, that means that's what caused it, and you ignore all the other different factors. Right? You ignore the fact that these are occupied people. You ignore the fact that West, for the most part, have been oppressing Muslim countries for years now. They have been oppressing Palestinians. You ignore all this, and like how do you and you go to a conclusion that just doesn't follow. Like, what's he talking about? So, because like one Muslims may have gone to an extreme position, therefore all Muslims are extremists. But when Israelis go to an extreme position because they've literally said they want to commit genocide, they want to drop nukes on Palestine, they're not all extremists. Like, he's just still, brother. One brother says Sam Harris is a bigot. Yeah, exactly. This is a clear Islamophobia. There's not like no logic to anything he's saying. He's basically saying that Muslims are all terrorists. So if they fight back, they're terrorists. Without looking at the context, like, why are they terrorists? Like, what makes them terrorists? He doesn't justify this. I mean, is he saying that anyone who fights back, who resists for their own land, is a terrorist, or anyone who resists for their own land that are religious are terrorists? But by that logic, shouldn't the Israelis be terrorists as well? Because they're also religious. So like, they're completely inconsistent.
Desperately, the world waits in desperation for moderate Muslims to get their heads around the problem of jihad.
And Eric,
So basically, he wants Muslims that agree with Israel. That's what he wants. He wants Muslims that agrees with him. Only Muslims that agree with him, and the Muslims that don't agree with him, that resist and fights for their own land, they should be killed. That's literally what he's saying. I don't know how more charitable I can be. He's basically saying any Muslim that fights for their own land and doesn't want to be oppressed, and speaks out, fights back, is a terrorist. And they should be killed. It's complete Islamophobic garbage. No, Muslims have the right to fight back. They have the right to fight for their land.
do you agree with Sam's assessment of the situation?
I disagree, first of all, with Constantine before I even get to Sam.
Excellent.
So, you phrased this immediately as what's going on in Israel and Palestine. From the perspective of Hamas, what do you mean?
Actually, Brett Weinstein, I think Eric Weinstein, I think his name is. He actually says some interesting things, so I'm gonna
It's all
play some
happening
of
in
it.
Palestine, right? So the idea is that there's a European occupier sitting in Palestine. You have an open air prison. People are oppressed. It's completely unlivable. And resistance was taken against the European oppressor in Palestine. So I don't know what you're talking about. So that perspective, for example, has to do with the language. So as soon as the frame is in place, I can tell you what the argument is. It's like looking at different opening tic-tac-toe moves. I've got all the games memorized, and so I just don't want to even participate as soon as I hear that, because of these different mindsets. Now, to Sam's point, I had a big disagreement in some sense with the way in which the new atheists took on the problem of jihad, and that is because it comes out of totalizing. Totalizing ideologies are really the problem. There's a North Korean totalizing ideology. There's a jihadi.
By the way, Hamas is not even like following any totalizing ideology. They're just like a normal resistance group.
Totalizing ideology.
Sorry to interrupt. Just for clarity, for these people who might not know, what does totalizing ideology mean?
Well, what I mean in this case is that there's an entire worldview which solves and addresses all of your issues. How should we structure a family? What is the purpose of life? What risks may be assumed? When may one kill? You have an entire worldview that is effectively incompatible with the outside world. All notions of tolerance, of coming up with, two people who don't really agree, but agree enough in order to serve each other coffee, and maybe marry into each other's families, whatnot. There is a sort of way in which you're open through moderation and through tolerance to the points of view of others within a relatively broad but still restricted spectrum. This is outside of that spectrum. So the issue is not Islam to me. The issue is totalizing ideologies that provide all answers. And there aren't that many of them left, right? Like Soviet communism died off. It was a totalizing ideology. You see the art, the music, the cinema. You can spend your entire life in a Soviet mindset based on what was produced during that period.
But not all totalizing ideologies are the same.
No, they aren't.
Right? So it's like
but
the martyrdom completely changes the game theory, right? Like if Putin was a martyr, we would feel differently about it.
I promise. But I'm just trying to
let me drag you there.
So the first problem I have is that totalizing ideologies.
So basically, they're like talking about totalizing ideology. I don't even know what that means. So basically, he's saying that any ideology that gives like life lessons and like basically tells like covers every aspect of it is the problem. Like, but you hold a worldview like that. Like liberalism itself is a totalizing ideology. Like it's funny because these people don't realize that they themselves follow a totalizing ideology. But when Muslims follow a totalizing ideology, that's wrong. But when they do it, like it's like they act like it doesn't exist, but it does exist. Like a Western like colonial power, or like Western colonialism was born out of liberal ideology. So, like how are you guys different? Like you have your laws and you have your rules by which you live by, which is also totalizing. Like how is liberalism not a totalizing ideology? But anyway, so basically this is a point that nonsensical point he brings up, but I'm gonna ignore this and I'm gonna go straight to war with jihadis. That's good.
One of the things that always worries me about our space is we critique others and we don't model and we don't talk about how to think. And we spent 40 minutes, I've asked both of you how to think about this issue. We are nowhere near there. So let's try. You both put some ideas forward about how you see this problem. How do we think about this, Sam? If you're right, let's just for the sake of argument, this is all about jihadism.
I have an answer for you, but I certainly preface it by saying that one, I'm not an expert in any of the relevant areas that would give me confidence in this answer.
This is the internet. It's never stopped anyone.
Yeah, so I'm not like, so I'm very on Twitter. Not much recently. So I'm very happy that I'm not in charge here.
Yes.
So I can say this knowing that I have absolutely no responsibility to actually make this kind of decision. But what I think we in the West, however you want to conceive it, should do is recognize that we are perpetually at war with aspiring martyrs. Right? We're at war with jihadis. Now, how many people fitting that description actually exist in the Muslim world is as yet undetermined. Right? But
so basically, he's saying that we're at war with people. First of all, like it's not a war. Like what's happening in Gaza is just complete massacre. It's a genocide. It's a one-sided thing. And no, you're not at war. It's just like you're how should you call it? You are a illegal occupier that wants to take over anything, and there are people that are resisting that. That's what's actually happening. Like you want to take over other people's land. You want to meddle in their politics for your own interest. And they don't want that to happen, and you're saying that they're criminals, they're terrorists. But let's continue.
it's more than we should be comfortable with, and still most Muslims do not fit that description, obviously, right? And then there are kind of concentric circles of decreasing support for the project of jihad. But we have to recognize that we're at war with jihadism. In whatever guise, whatever organization or non-organization.
By the way, he doesn't really define what he means by jihadism. Like, what do you mean by jihadism exactly? Like, so basically, he gives like he does a straw man of like what Muslims actually believe, what we believe, and he says that jihadism is basically the idea that subjugating like non-Muslims or whatever. But that's not what jihad is. Jihad is jihad can be a few different forms. It can be offensive jihad, there can be defensive jihad, there can be spiritual jihad. So like which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the offensive jihad? If it's offensive jihad, then it's up to the leader, right? It's the leader that decides like whether it's okay to go to war or not. So it's like a normal warfare. So he's talking about normal warfare, and he's saying that Muslims who wants to do normal warfare against us is evil and wrong without giving any justification for why that is. So he's just saying any Muslim that wants to fight for their land, for when they're, you know, when they're they're committing international war, sorry, illegal war or war crimes. If any Muslims want to fight that war crime, they're terrorists and they should be killed. Like that's what he's saying. So like like how do you? This guy's so stupid. Like I hate this guy. Like he's so stupid. Like I don't know how to like argue against this. Like he's saying that he wants to kill Muslims. Like that's literally what he's saying. He wants to say he's saying that he wants to kill Muslims or jihadis, as he call it, that resist our war crime. You know, brother worship Allah says Sam Harris is a hypocrite. Yeah, I mean he is. I mean he's more than a hypocrite. I mean he's just evil. You know, I mean like I don't know what else to say. This guy's just evil. Like I try to give him the benefit of the doubt. People like him, Apos, David Wood, they're just evil. That's the only way I can put it. These people have no regard for human life. I mean, Apos just put out countless videos defending Israel. They have no regard for Palestinian lives. They don't care that people are being martyred, absolutely butchered. They don't care about that. There are literally thousands and thousands of people that are dead, that are buried in the ground. They don't care about them. All the women and children dead. They feel nothing for them. Like absolutely brutal, kind of like disgusting behavior. These people are disgusting. That's what it is. And these people are evil. Like I don't know. Like I honestly I feel disgusted sometimes to like even react to these people, because imagine like when it comes to Muslims, all we want is that we don't want our children or our elderly to be killed like this. If they didn't do like all this war crime and all this absolute garbage and horrible things, like there would be no resistance. There wouldn't be Hamas. Like the problem is with you. You're the problem, Sam. Zionists are the problem. Brother Roshan Fellow says Sam Harris believe Islam is evil. There it is. Okay, destroy Islam. Yeah, I mean, like I don't think he believes that Islam is evil because he thinks that moderate Islam, whatever that is okay. He just thinks that anyone who is against international, like violation of international law is okay, and anyone who tries to stop that from happening is a criminal. Like he's literally saying that people who steals land and commits genocide are good, and anyone who tries to stop that is a terrorist. So Allah, man, this guy is absolutely disgusting.
It exists,
I don't even know what to say.
and we should be killing jihadis.
Yeah, there he literally said it. He wants to kill Muslims. He wants to kill Muslims. That's what he's saying. We want to kill jihadis. What does it mean? It means people who are fighting for their own land, people who are resisting the illegal occupation. He wants to kill people who are fighting for their own land and for their own lives. That's what we want to kill. What an evil scumbag. What an evil scumbag. SubhanAllah, you know, when I saw this first, I was just so disheartened. I'm not gonna lie. Like, because the thing is that we're seeing this so many times. Even people who claim to be normal, like he's a freak. That's what I can say. He's a freak. Like he's saying that we want to kill jihadis, and he doesn't even, and he thinks jihadis are people who are fighting for their own land. Because what is Hamas? Like what is like Hezbollah? All of these groups came out because they want to defend their own land. The Taliban, like even if you want to take it like a step further, you want to talk about like Al Qaeda and like ISIL and whatnot. Yeah, these people also commit war crimes, but why are they doing that? Like they're extremists, yes, but like they're resisting things that are done by the West that are clearly wrong. Like starving people in Gaza. Like since when was that okay? And he's justifying that. He's saying that's okay. But when Muslims fight back, no, those are terrorists. And if you fight back, if someone starves you, that's okay. You should take it. And if you try to fight back and just want your children to be fed well, live well, you're a terrorist. That's what he's saying. Like, Like he's fancying it up with like some kind of pseudo intellectual argument, but that's what he's saying.
Right? That we're not going to negotiate with jihadis. We're not going to live peacefully with jihadis. When you raise your hand and you say, I'm a jihadi, that should make your life much more dangerous.
Look at this saying. like, okay, I'm gonna raise my hand. I want to see if Sam Harris wants to kill me. I'm a jihadi. Okay, Alhamdulillah, I'm a jihadi. Go ahead, kill me. What a loser! Like he doesn't even understand. Like the reason like these Muslims are fighting back is because you're oppressing them. Like your countries are oppressing them. Israel is oppressing them. That's why they're fighting. If you didn't oppress them, they wouldn't be fighting. Instead of making peace, he wants to kill them. Like like atheists must be like I know a lot of atheists don't support Sam Harris anymore, but like the fact that he's able to say things like this, get away, and then if like some Arab person says that from the river to the sea, Palestine should be free, is all of a sudden a terrorist. And this is the world we live in. We live in a world where if you want to fight for your own home and lives, you're a terrorist. But if you want to kill children, you're a good guy. Absolutely sick. Like, honestly, I think this is a sign of the end times because morality has completely shifted. These freaks, these pseudo intellectual freaks, have taken over, and people are listening to them and thinking that somehow there's what they're saying makes sense. When in reality, they're calling for killing children.
Officially, from the point of view of the Israelis, the CIA, anyone who's part of this project.
But then we're back to Dresden.
And
This
I
is
think-
why I brought it up.
I
We're
think,
back to Dresden.
I think this mostly should be covert. I don't think we need to take credit for this. I don't think the Israelis should say we dealt with the problem over here, and the U.S.
So he's talking about extrajudicial killing. So Sam Harris wants to do extrajudicial killings and kill any Muslim that doesn't agree with his worldview. Like, how's that? Like, what happened to free speech? I thought he was all about free speech. And what happened? Like, this is psychotic. Oh my god, I can't even believe this guy is saying this. Like, how is he not facing backlash for this? This is insane. He's saying that any Muslim that doesn't agree with us should be killed. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how else to address this. That's what he's saying. Like, this guy is psychopathic. And I know I keep saying this, but he literally is psychopathic. But I'm just in awe, to be honest. And I think Brother MENJ probably is tired, so might go to sleep. But I'm gonna end the stream soon. I just wanted to show you guys this portion, especially because I want you guys to see how sick these people actually are. They're literally saying that any Muslim that doesn't agree with us should be killed. That's what he's saying. Or any Muslim that doesn't agree with us on the base of their religion, right? They don't agree with this violent oppression, and they want to fight us for it. They're terrorists. They're jihadis, and they should be killed. Without looking at the context, like you could make an argument against extremism, by the way. Even from an Islamic point of view, we could make an argument against extremism. But that's not how you make the argument. like you don't say because they're resisting us, that's why they're terrorists, they should be killed. No, like, why are they resisting you? Like, why are they fighting you? Like, why was Taliban fighting you? Why was Hezbollah fighting you? Like, what's the reason? Is it fighting for no reason? Give the justification. Like, look at the justification for it, and then discuss. But no, he's saying that if they don't agree with us, if they fight when we try to invade their lands, they're terrorists. And by this logic, then everyone is a terrorist. Like, America is a terrorist. The British Army was terrorists, but of course he's not gonna call them terrorists. Of course.
Do you mean covert or do you mean clandestine?
How are you distinguishing those?
Clandestine means secret. Covert means deniable.
So yeah, speaking of which, he's basically saying that we need to do extrajudicial killing, which basically means we need to go to these different countries and kill any Muslim that don't agree with liberalism. That's what he's saying. This guy should be in jail. Like, he should be in jail, if not executed. Like, that's crazy. Imagine if a Hamas leader said that, or if an Arab or Muslim said that.
I'm not sure I understand all that you're.
When the CIA takes a covert operation,
Yeah.
the idea that if discovered, it will be denied and that the links to the sponsor will be
Right.
severed so that it cannot be traced back to the CIA. So in other words, it's a pretty big distinction. I just didn't know whether you were.
No, I don't know if it's important in this case, but this is an idea that doesn't originate with me. I think I first encountered this with the war correspondent and journalist Robert Kaplan. Maybe I think it might even be before 9/11. He wrote on this. But just the idea that we need to, that all of this has to be public, all of this has to be demonstrative, all this has to be framed by speeches, that we need to declare we're going to go to war in Iraq, right? We're going to go to war in Afghanistan. I mean, if my thinking about anything has changed since 9/11, I was never a supporter of the war in Iraq. I was never a critic of the war in Iraq. I never knew what to think about the war in Iraq, except I noticed that it seemed like a catastrophic distraction from the war in Afghanistan, which I absolutely did support, and which was a hopeless failure, certainly.
So he supported illegal occupation of, invasion of Afghanistan, which, by the way, was illegal under international law because they at the time did not have any evidence against bin Laden, although he later admitted the war itself was illegal because it was operated without any evidence. Now, of course, like bin Laden later on admitted, but before then, there was no trial for bin Laden, so there's no justification to go to war.
It seems. But so if my thinking has changed about anything, is the idea that we can do this project of nation building, that like by analogy with what we did with post World War II with Germany and Japan, which are miracles of resurrection. Really, I mean, look at the enemies we had in Germany and Japan, and look at the state of the world now. Right? It's just the idea that.
So, okay, this is another thing. So he basically uses the example of Germany and Japan. He's basically saying, "Oh, look, we are also at war with Germany and Japan, and after our war with Germany and Japan, look at how much they have advanced, right? Look at how much they have advanced. They are now very advanced, and and they are no longer fighting us, right? The problem is that both Germany and Japan were not occupied people. They were not living in a concentration camp. Like, do you not understand the difference between these two things? Like, Germany was a military power. Like, they were a military power. They were literally taking over all of Europe. Japan was a military power. They were taking over most of Asia. The Palestinians have nothing. Like, how are you making this comparison? Like, this guy's so stupid. He's saying that people who are simply fighting for their own land are terrorists and they should be fought. And if we fight them, somehow that's going to make them not want to fight us. Like, if we kill more of their family members, somehow that's going to stop them from fighting us. Like, this is so stupid. Imagine this. Imagine if I said, like, I'm going to go to Sam Harris's house and kill all his family members, take over his home, and if they if Sam Harris tries to fight me and fight me back, then he's a terrorist, clearly. And then if he tries to fight me back, I'm gonna use more force, kill more of his family members until he stops. And then if he stops, he's gonna become a better person, right? Like, so stupid. I mean, it's just, these guys are delulu, in meme terms. Delusional. He's not delusional, he's just evil. Anyway, let's continue.
They are our friends and collaborators and have been for virtually for as long as we've been alive. It's an amazing reboot of civilization after its near destruction.
So, by the way, speaking of Germany and Japan, like everything, the way they advanced their societies is because they were very hardworking. It has nothing to do with the U.S. Like, I don't know what U.S. did that. Like they also took over, like, Vietnam, right? And what happened? Like, is Vietnam like somehow a miraculous country? Like, that reason why Japan and and especially Germany bounced back is despite American support. It's because they were very hardworking. They were willing to do things that are very smart for their own countries. That's why they advanced. It has nothing to do with America. Like, America didn't make them like economically stable. Like, he's taking credit for like Germany and Japan, which is very odd.
The idea that we can accomplish that in the Middle East and accomplish that in Muslim culture just because we think everyone must want freedom on some level and must want to run the same democratic code as we do and dye their fingers and say they voted. I'm much more pessimistic about that project ever being fulfillable in the lifetime of anyone hearing this than I was. And so I think we should be very circumspect about owning anything. Because the other thing is that because all of it.
Also, like, he ignores all the different invasions that America did that did not succeed, right? Like, for example, Like one example I showed is Vietnam, obviously, and another one is like, you know, I don't know, like all the look at all the coups that they did. Look at what happened with Libya. Look at what happened in Syria. By the way, America all invaded these countries. They sent air support. They bombed these countries: Syria, Libya, Iraq. And what happened? Are these countries better for it? No, they're worse. They're way worse than they were before. Like Iraq is clearly not in a good state. Most of the Middle East, like you guys have like this, they have this mythical idea that somehow if we send our armies in these countries, that's gonna make these countries better. But no, the opposite is happening, and it's been happening constantly. Like the only example he gives is like Germany and Japan, but Germany and Japan did not need your help to be like successful. They were successful despite of it.
This is seen through religious lens on the other side. And it's all a matter of sanctities and their trespass, as far as the eye can see. So you bring in infidel troops, even with the best of intentions, to do anything good, and it's a sacrilege worthy of the murder of non-combatants, right? So many people subscribe to this worldview, beyond just jihadists, that you just can't, the project is over with the best of intentions even before it starts. So I think, again, I say this as someone who doesn't know all that I'm getting wrong here, at least pragmatically. Like, I don't know, in terms of covert or clandestine operations, how you go about killing jihadists wherever they exist. You know, we should get as good as we can get at that. We should get as good as we can get at that. And so the leaders of Hamas in Qatar,
Yeah.
those guys, the clock should be ticking on those guys.
So
right?
it is.
Yeah. So,
But that's
So he wants to kill, he wants to violate international law and kill people in countries that they have no business being in. That's what he's saying. Imagine if then what's wrong with all the extremists groups like ISIS, like what's wrong with what they did? They did the exact same thing. Like what about Salman Rushdie, like Iranian Shah? He basically put out a fatwa against like Salman Rushdie, and there are people now that wants to kill him. Then what's wrong with that? Like he's doing the same thing. It's extrajudicial killing. You killing other people that you don't like in someone else's borders. That's extrajudicial killing. That's against international law. And he's advocating for something that goes against that's international crime. So he's advocating for international crime. Assassination. That's what he's talking about. He's promoting assassinations, illegal assassinations.
So that's the most important piece from my point of view. Jihad, as a job description,
This guy's a psycho.
and jihadism has to be
But
failed.
these people aren't cowards. These people who organize this expect to die. So one of the things that we say
we
is
should fulfill
they're
that
cowards, they're
expectation.
cowardly. It's not true.
I would never say
No
that.
one has said that.
But say-
Let's stop arguing with
sorry,
something.
as the old joke goes, Sam, what's the difference between a moderate Muslim and a jihadi? The harassment of a sister at an Israeli checkpoint. The problem is you can't just go around killing jihadis, because a lot of people express support for jihad who are never going to pick up a gun or strap
Right.
themselves to
So
suicide.
that's a distinction I'm making.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, how do you get to just decide who's quote unquote jihadi and who's not?
There are people who, the other very depressing thing is that, and we have poll results going back now decades, when you ask Muslim communities, not just in the Muslim world, but in the West, what's your level of support for suicide bombing in defense of Islam, right? The numbers are awful, right? And so that's not what I'm talking about. The people who are actually deciding to.
Whether that's a fallacy, that's known as appeal to popularity. Just because a lot of people may think something is true doesn't make it true. Because under Islamic law, you cannot commit suicide, let alone suicide bombing. So that's haram. Like, yeah. So basically, it's like appeal to popularity. I cannot show the animation here, but it's a fallacy, logical fallacy. Yeah, like this guy doesn't even understand how basic logic works. But whatever.
To be jihadis. They're going to get up tomorrow morning, and their goal, their job is, how do I kill
When did
infidels? How
suicide
do I
bombing
kill
in
Jews?
Islam start?
What was that?
When did suicide bombing in Islam start?
This was not.
Yeah, that's a good question. He asked me, okay, when did suicide bombing in Islam start? Exactly, because we never had suicide bombing before like 2000s. That's because it's a new thing. It's a new phenomenon. It's never existed. Oh, he completely destroyed him right there.
We don't have to talk about camel tigers.
I'm telling you,
Like, yeah, it's
it
not. It's a
started with
tactic.
the
Yes.
Beirut barracks, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about a relatively recent phenomenon.
Yeah, but bombs are a relatively.
No, no,
recent
He just destroyed. He just cooked him. Yeah, he's right, because it is a recent phenomenon. It didn't exist before. This idea, this kamikaze kind of suicide attack, it didn't exist before because it's un-Islamic.
The golden age of hijacking before that. I'm not making any excuses for it. I'm trying to say that you're talking about something of such consequence. The idea that
Oh my god, he just destroyed him. Look at his face. That's the face of a defeated person. Like, so it looks so stupid, man.
we should, if I take covert, that we should have a an official policy of trying to identify people who are jihadi, whatever that means, which is very
They
complicated.
identify themselves, right?
Sam,
They literally moved to Syria.
I had a friend in Cambridge, Massachusetts, who you would have identified as a jihadi. And he said to me, once you go to Israel, we will never be friends again. We will never speak. I will have to hate you, blah, 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 blah. He was the one who told me about the hadith. He says, remember that this is the tree that is the tree of the Jews that will hide you when the earth cries for your blood. It's an incredible mindset. You and I are allied on it. It's a mindset that Americans have difficulty thinking through. But what you're talking about, when you talk about the decision boundary of which jihadis to kill.
Yeah, so err on the side of conservative, right? I'm just saying we have to recognize we're in a hot war.
Sam, I think this is
So Muslim conservatives should be killed. Like that's what he's saying. So we're not gonna kill like normal Muslims, just like any conservative Muslim that are religious. That should be okay. Like,
the problem that you're having with
sort
Trump and other things, which is you are being invited into the abyss.
You're not understanding. Let me just clarify what I'm recommending here, because if you're not understanding it, the audience isn't understanding it. What I'm saying is much more conservative, at least in my view, with respect to collateral damage and the ethics of warfare than what is likely to be happening. Certainly what's...
Now he's shifting the goalpost. Now he realized, wait a minute, I cannot justify with the nonsense that I just said. Now he's shifted his goalpost. Because the thing is, he clearly said that any Muslim that, that resists Israel should be killed. That's what he's saying. That's what he's terming as jihadis.
What I think is likely to happen in Gaza, right? I think we should...
You want a lot of targeted surgical stuff.
Two things. First of all, let Sam finish. And the second thing is, Eric, I want to hear a positive proposition from you, because you're kind of positioning yourself in a critique place from which it's much easier to operate. So let Sam finish his point, and then I want to hear from you what you think we should do, because otherwise it's kind of asymmetrical. Right. So go, Sam.
So our progress morally as a civilization, especially in the West, as a global civilization... But
first of all, you're not a civilization. You're barbarians, a bunch of barbarians. You're advocating for killing children. You're advocating for genocide. How are you a civilized person? How are you part of civilization, any civilization? He's still responding to that lost cause. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just like reacting to it, to be honest. I'm not really taking this like as seriously, because the thing is that it's just baffling to listen to these evil people talk, because I feel like we need to understand how these people's mind work. These people are so evil. They don't realize they're asking for the death of innocent people. They're justifying deaths of innocent people. And it's kind of crazy how they do that. It's just like, it's mind-boggling. So I was just reacting to this. And I'm probably going to wrap this up soon. But yeah, there's a few minutes left. So,
especially in the West, has been on many fronts. But one crucial front is that we have become more and more uncomfortable in taking innocent life, however defensively, when we wage war, right? So collateral damage is that phrase is a euphemism.
Which part of like bombing or leveling entire residential buildings or entire neighborhoods is defensive? Like nothing Israel is doing is defensive. Israel has no right to even exist. First of all, they have no right to exist. Then they have a treaty with the people. They're going into their territory, killing their people, killing their children. And you're saying that's defensive. Then they're fighting back, and then you're killing more of their children, and you're saying that that's defensive. Like, oh.
It hides just the ghastliest outcomes, where you have children orphaned and children blown up, and every permutation of that horror. And because we become more and more transparent to ourselves in how we wage war, we are increasingly less and less capable of waging war the way we did in World War II and Vietnam. And I think that's a good thing. It's a good thing until it isn't, right? I mean, I can imagine us getting into a war where we have to finally say, fuck it, we have to roll back our moral compass to 1945, because this enemy is hiding behind so many beautiful blonde-haired little girls. All those girls are going to die, otherwise we all die, right? So like that's conceivable to me. But
what's it talking about? Like, who is hiding behind blonde-haired girls? Like, what are you talking about?
I certainly hope we don't have a future like that. And so I think we should have a bias toward being more and more compassionate, more and more scrupulous, more and more aware of how intolerable it is, or in this case, completely...
By the way, this is not even being tolerable. Like, you're committing a crime. Like, you're on their land. You're taking their land. That's a crime. You shouldn't be doing that. Like, you shouldn't be killing anyone in that situation, because you're the criminal. You're the occupier. Israel is the occupier.
Innocent families in Gaza to have 500-pound bombs dropped on their heads, right? It's completely unacceptable. The details are unacceptable. And I don't share your view that if we just saw more of the imagery, that would help us calibrate here, because the imagery is so provocative. The imagery of a dead baby being pulled out of rubble is so provocative. It's impossible to think about what should happen in the world on the basis of that data point, right? That doesn't guide you. That just confounds you. And so I think what
So if you see like innocent children being killed, you should never want that to stop. That's that's what he's saying. He's saying that we should make decisions based on the atrocities, right? That's what he's saying. If a group, if Israel, let Israel kill children, man, let them kill children, and don't feel so emotional about it. Stop being dramatic, man. That's what he's saying. I know, like I'm like caricaturing, making a caricature of him, but that's the whole point. Because like I don't, there's even no need to refute this because it's so evil and so like scummy. I don't even need to refute this. I just need to make fun of this. That's how bad it is.
what I'm arguing for, and again, I don't understand the practicalities of this. I mean, we need to bring in, Delta Force and the CIA and people who actually know how you do things on that front to know what's possible. But I think, yes, anyone who joins a jihadist organization who's in the business of waging jihad, right, that should be a death sentence. That should be.
So anyone who wants to resist Israel should be killed. Duly noted. That's what he's saying. Imagine if we said that, right? If we said anyone who supports Israel should be their clock should be ticking, right? They should be executed. Imagine if we said that, right? Like, would these people be okay with this? What a psycho, man! What a psycho! Like Palestinians have every right to fight for their land. They have every right to fight for their children, and this doesn't make them terrorists.
Should be suicide, right? We should figure out how to make that within the possibilities here. We should figure out how to make that so. And I mean, we have our friend Douglas Murray, who we both love and who's incredibly courageous and wise on this particular front. He's walking around saying that anyone who supports Hamas, right, even just anyone who gets out on the sidewalk and stands on one of these signs, as they have in this week, supporting what happened in Israel, those people should lose their citizenship and be evicted from the UK, right? I try to
Right, but if you support Zionism and if you're Israeli who supports killing children, you should stay there. You should stay in the country. Like, imagine the message this sends to the young people or the young generation. Imagine what you're saying to them. You're saying to them, this country that is killing so many children like you, if you support them, you have the right to stay in our country. But if you support these people that are trying to fight for their own lives, fight for their own children, the people that are trying to fight an illegal occupation, if you support them, we're going to kick you out. Like, by this logic, though, like, don't they have to kick themselves out? Because didn't the Americans also rebelled against the British? Or like, so what are you going to do there in that situation? Don't you have to kick yourselves out by this logic?
map that onto your free speech concerns in the U.S. How practical is that? How ethical
My
is
free
that?
speech concerns.
Well, just so you know, guys, Hamas is a proscribed terrorist organization in the UK. Therefore, to express support for it is a crime.
Okay, so
By the way, Hamas is also not recognized as a terrorist group. Most of the world is just in the Western Hemisphere. So you guys are the minority.
but like try to map that onto the American context. Right? We've got Stanford students who are effectively those people, right? Not only are we kicking them out of Stanford, which I could sort of support. I mean, there's more to talk about there, but like, yeah, I mean, there's a certain form of cancel.
By the way, this is cancel culture. He's talking about cancel culture. This is blasphemy law. This is the same guy that will take issues with like what happened with Salman Rushdie and how he was stabbed for mocking the Prophet. He will say that, oh, if someone mocks the Prophet, and if Muslims want to stop that from happening, then Muslims are wrong. But if you speak against Israel, then you should be deported. You should not have the right to do that. So you should not have the right to criticize a genocidal country, but you can criticize the Prophet of God that a lot of people hold very important role in, right? Like, this guy's lunatic. Brother Administrator, do you accept the Arab and Jews in Palestine to live in peace and harmony? Arab, yeah, I mean, that can only happen under, Islamic law, because that already happened under Islamic law, because Muslims and Jews, Arabs and Jews, have lived side by side just fine before Zionists came in.
Culture that would make some sense to me at this moment. But on Douglas's account, we just send them to Gaza, right? Just drop them in Gaza and say good luck.
Why don't you go to Israel right now then? Like, what are you doing in America? If you love Israel so much, go to America. And if the Zionist, love, why didn't they go to America? Like if they love like America so much and love democracy so much, they should go to America and the West. Some people want the Jews gone. Yeah, I mean, like honestly, I don't even know how to blame them. Of course, like that's wrong. You shouldn't want like all Jewish people to be killed. It's just the ones that want to kill us and take over our homes. Those are the ones that we should be against. And I think any normal person should be against that, unless you're like Sam Harris and you're like a freak. You have to defend child killing, then
You wanted, this is your worldview. Okay, when you talk about extreme derangements of our civil society and our politics and our way of life and boundary problems. How do we like just what constitutes support for Hamas in these last 7 days, right? On social media and on the Quad. It's
all
an
right. I
impossible
think
problem. So
we're,
you can
we're
be as
gonna
judicious
end
as you
this
want to
here.
be. I would advocate that, but I think we have to recognize, euphemisms aside, that terrorism is not our problem. Jihadism is our problem, and it's not that.
Yeah, if you want to fight for your own land, you're a problem. You should not fight for your own land. You should let other people take over your land. Don't be a freedom fighter. Unless you're an American, then it's fine.
It's not that we don't have other problems. North Korea is also a problem. The other totalizing dogmas are also a problem. This is a very specific problem that is not going away. It will be with us for as long as we're alive and as long as our kids are alive.
Great. So, Eric, what is your vision for how we start
My
solving
positive
this?
vision. So that Sam, okay, look, because you asked for it, I think in all of the appearances, I've never actually shared this publicly, but you're forcing the issue, and I'm not hiding from it. It's just, if we don't do anything different, we're going to get what Hamas wanted. So the first of all, I mean, it's the level of disagreement.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna end this here. I think I've heard enough from this psychopath. I honestly feel sick, and I don't know like how people like listen to this guy and not feel disgusted. I mean, what a freak! What a freak! Brother Red Baron says Simon is the type of guy that says that he doesn't eat ice cream, and then you'll find him eating an ice cream sandwich because it has bread between it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the way that he's like defending Israel, it's like, and because the thing is, anything that Israel does can never be wrong, but anything the Arabs do or like the Muslims do is immediately makes them terrorists. Like again, he's so Islamophobic. Like I don't even. It's just, it's very stupid. The fact that people actually take this guy seriously, he's disgusting. Here's what's happening. He's saying that Israel should have the right to commit genocide. That's all there is to it. And he's justifying it. He's saying that they have the right to commit genocide because, these people are resisting. And these Muslims, these Arab Muslims, they're resisting this occupation. They're resisting them peacefully killing. So basically, this is what's happening. Israel was, killing Palestinians and wiping them out slowly. But Palestinians are continuously resisting that. And here's the issue. Palestinians should not be doing that. They should not be fighting for their own land. And so when they're fighting for their own land, he said that if they do that, they're jihadis, they're terrorists. But not if we commit an international like war crime. Not if Israel commits a war crime, it's fine. But if Palestinians fight for their own land, they're terrorists. Or Muslims fight for their own land, they're terrorists. If we oppose their evil ideology, we're terrorists. We cannot do that. If you're in the university, you'll be kicked out, according to him, cancel culture. This is the same guy that speaks out against cancel culture. He wants to cancel all the Muslims who want to speak out against Zionism. He speaks out against blasphemy law, yet now he's justifying this Zionist blasphemy law, which is that you cannot criticize Israel, the great state of Israel, most moral army in the world, who have killed nearly 7,000 children, 8,000 children. You cannot criticize that, but you can criticize the prophet. You can criticize God. Like you can do all that. Like his morality is completely backward. Brother Redburn says we can all agree that Israel and its citizens are racist. I have no remorse for them whatsoever. Yeah, exactly. Like there's a poll that they did where they showed that nearly 70% of Israelis believe that they don't want to be near an Arab. Like, just think about that. Imagine if in America you found like nearly 80% of them believe that they don't want to be near like a black person or white. Imagine if you had like this kind of like, this kind of like charts that said that. It's crazy. It's crazy. The amount of racism that these people like, they literally chant a good Arab is a dead Arab. And this is the regime that Sam Harris is defending. He's defending a country that believes that Jewish race is superior, and when they're committing genocide, he's saying that's a good thing. Like, he's pure evil. This guy's a freak. He's pure evil. He's a freak, and he should be in jail, if not worse. You know? And yeah, Brother Edman says inconsistency gets real when Israel is in the picture. This really proves that all the arguments against Islam they spewed before, they just got destroyed. Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is that when it comes to when it comes to Zionism on Israel, all of a sudden he's justifying everything. Like, just think about it. He's justifying apostasy law because, if you don't support Zionism, if you're a Jewish person and you don't support Zionism, you should be kicked out. And imagine if you're a Jewish person that supports Hamas, like what happens? He's executed or killed, right? So he's supporting apostasy law in a way. He's supporting blasphemy law because no one has the right to voice their support for either Hamas or Palestine. So he's supporting apostasy law. He's supporting blasphemy law when it comes to Israel. But like when it comes to Islam, all of a sudden he has an issue, massive issue. you know, like it's just it's incredibly hypocritical, and the double standard is just laughable. So if you're a brown Arab and you want to defend your own land, you don't have the right to do that. But if you're like a white liberal, then you can do whatever you want. And you're like an atheist, you can do whatever you want. You can kill children, you can starve people, you can, do whatever. You can even threaten people with like literal nuclear weapons, drop like on like two like nuclear level weapons of destruction upon a people, and you could be completely fine. What a disgusting person. Anyway, with this, I think I want to end this video because the last couple portion was kind of depressing. I'm not gonna lie, very very disturbing. I'm honest with you guys, very disgusting and disturbing. This is why I wanted to react to this, because when I saw this, it's just I was baffled. I was baffled. But yeah, this is what we're fighting. This is what we're fighting. This is the true face of Islamophobia. In its complete unadulterated form. Bunch of genocidal lunatics that wants to kill us. That's what Islamophobes are. Make no mistakes. Like all David Wood, Apos, this guy, they're all the same. They want to kill us. So make no mistakes and have no empathy for Islamophobes. These people are dangerous. They should be kicked out. Or not kicked out, they should be opposed. But anyway, Red Banner, so do you agree hummus is a virus that Israel created that are responsible for getting rid of them by giving Arabs their land back? Hummus is not like, what is hummus? Hummus is simply people that are trying to fight for their own land. Like they were not created by Israel. And if you meant by creating oppression, then I guess you could say that. But like the thing is that Hamas is simply the people of Palestine, or at least a portion of people of Palestine. Because also the attack was not just done by Hamas, it was done by multiple different factions. They're all involved in that. And they have every right to fight back against the Israeli occupation. Now, if you want like the Hamas fighters to be responsible, you can do that. Like I'm sure that Hamas leadership would happily put their own people in check. But for that to happen, there needs to be serious repercussion from the Israeli side. The Israelis have to also be responsible, but that's never going to happen because the Israeli literally wants to kill all Arabs. That's literally what they want. They literally said it. So it's like when you're trying to negotiate with a crazy person and you make some compromises, like you make some mistakes, then everyone is like telling you like, but like why did you do that? Why did you do this? And they ignore the fact that they're literally fighting bunch of psychopaths and genocidal psychopaths, But anyway, with this, I think I want to end this video. It was interesting. Brother MENJ is gone. I think he's just tired. But anyway, thank you guys for joining. If you guys like the video, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, inshallah. And inshallah, I'll come back with more future videos for you guys. By the way, give suggestions in the comments which video you guys want to see next. I have a few plans. I want to do some video on some Christians, and maybe on David Wood and some other Christians, and I also do want to some videos on atheists. I do have some plans on some Hindu extremists as well, because I've been ignoring them for a while, and to make videos on them as well. So yeah, I guess that's about it. I'll see you guys next time. If you guys like the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And if you want to support me, you can support me by becoming a Patreon or by becoming a YouTube member. I would really appreciate it. And thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna go now. My throat is hurting. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.